Right. It says we're live. Let's see how much truth there is to that. Welcome back, Wayfarer. Hope you've been doing well. Time for another one. Greetings and salutations, wanderer, wayfarer, wizard, warrior, and wildcat alike. This is your host for the hour, Frank Monday. Let's take a moment to induce calm, and as you listen to my voice, I invite you to find a comfortable, relaxed position, allowing your body to settle down. Feel the earth beneath you. Feel your weight sinking into your chair. Take a deep breath in. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and slowly exhale. With each breath, feel yourself becoming more relaxed, more at ease. Imagine a warm, gentle wave of relaxation washing over you. Inhale the sensation of relaxation. You might imagine it as a sound or a color, a gentle humming, starting from the top of your head and flowing down through your shoulders, arms, down along your torso, hips, all the way out across your legs and into the tips of your toes. Feeling any tension or stress simply melting away, leaving you with a sense of calm and lightness. As you continue natural rhythmic breathing, allow your mind to become still, like a calm, placid lake reflecting the sky. Each breath deepens your relaxation, making you more attentive to the moment. And as you relax, I invite you to deepen your relaxation with tools for mindfulness. For now, simply enjoy this calm, relaxed feeling. Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, your friend and well-wisher Frank Monday, inviting you to check me out on buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. Hit the likes, guys, like and subscribe, and keep old Algobots barking like Pavlov's dog. I like to start off each show with a short prayer of adoration to the Most High. If you know it, say it with me. Inhale, hold for a moment, command yourself to relax. Imagine your holy guardian angel standing above you. Beautiful. The perfect epitome of your future self, what you will become. Red gold wings vibrating at a high frequency. As you inhale, aspire to your angel. As you exhale, you and your guardian angel are one. Holy art thou, Lord of the universe, the vast and the mighty one, creator of heaven and earth, maker of all things visible and invisible, master of both the light and the darkness, he who was, is, and shall be. We adore thee and we invoke thee. Send one of your divine spiritual agents, our holy guardian angel, to protect and guide us through the innumerable snares of the earthly sphere and a beatific cleansing wind to disperse all negativity and endless human opinion, which is so malodorous and odious and causes great vexation among man. Teach us those secret things which we must know for the completion of the great work and the glory of thine ineffable name, Adonai. So it is commanded and confirmed, so mote it be. Amen. As per usual, guys, I'm on the mad drive to try to reach 1,000 subs. So help out with that. Sub a friend, share a video, or secretly sub your grandma. That'll help me get it done. Good magic. Let me check the ideas room. Looks like we've got some visitors out in Happy Land. Good to see you, Sal Smith. Sal Smith says, hello, mate. Happy to finally be here with you again and in touch with my soul. My man, I have no idea. Much needed. Good. Good to see you, Frater Sal. I hope you are doing well. Send currently praise, admiration, well wishes. I've started working again, and as soon as I've got everything in order, hey, thank you for that, man. Not to worry. That's just a suggested way to participate in the old coffee page. A one-time coffee donation will certainly put the lead in my pencil, the jelly in my donut, the pep in my step, and keeping my nose to the grindstone. Just another fun way to interact. As per usual, guys, always open lines for paranormal encounters. So if anything strange or unusual has happened out there in Happy Land, definitely let me know. Tell me you want to call in, and I'll put the link in the chat. So good to see you. Good looking out, Sal Smith. I'm glad you're here, brother, and I'm glad you're doing well. I'm about to go back to work next week, so I've had an entire month off for the winter holiday. And I can't say that I'm really, how does that go? Let's see. During lockdown, I went like nearly 8 months from working at home, and I was really ready to get back out into the world again. But this time around, a month off, working at a school, I follow the kids' schedule. So I work the school year, and then I have summer vacation off and winter vacation off. So those are good opportunities to have downtime. It's kind of a cool thing, I never imagined myself getting back into the academy when I was a kid and going through school. The only thing I wanted to do was get the hell out of there. And then I ended up getting trapped, going to college. And then after college, I worked in retail for a while. And within like a decade, I got up to like middle management in retail. And then I switched over to a research program at university. And right out of my research program, I got hired into television. And I was in television for like almost 5 years. And then I just matriculated into education, which I've been in for over 20 years now, probably going on 23, 24 years doing the education thing. So it's been a good long journey, man, a good long journey. Lots of fun along the way. Lots of different things to do in life. Whatever you find yourself doing, just give it 100%, right? And I think that's the best way to get it done. A couple of things I wanted to look at this morning with you guys, if you're here with me. Only really stellar following your journey. Have this time off. Your time off happened to coincide with the last half. Okay, good magic, man. I'm glad. Yeah, that's sometimes we need a break from life, and life can be extremely challenging. I since you've just recently started watching a little bit, there's some things that happened to me recently too. over the last 5 years that have challenged my grip on reality to an extent. Like, you do some life planning as you approach middle age, and some of those things were I was, planning, looking forward to in my retirement years, spending time with certain loved people in the family. Like I got an older brother that's about 2 years older than me, or I did, until he passed away during COVID. And then my mom, and then like both of my best friends, my best friend back in the States, and then my best friend that I met here in Beijing. And we had like a 15-year relationship. You can see him on my channel too. He did a lot of the 100-day challenges with me in the early days. His name was Tomas. And it's almost been 1 year. He passed away in March of last year. And it's like, wow, like I lost 5 key people in my life over the last 5 years. And it really, I think the saving grace is that over the last 30 years, I have worked and established my own family, so I got married, I got a wife, I got two children that are in high school now. So, if it wasn't for that, then I definitely wouldn't have like an anchor, as much of an anchor in the world. Like, yeah. So it made me really, the dark night of the soul, as they call it, right? And it's not the first time I've gone through the dark night of the soul, but coming out on the other side is good. It's good to that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and life's got to keep on moving forward. And we were going to travel back to the U.S. In fact, 2025, this summer, was when we had planned to do it. And so it changes things. You got to adapt and roll with the punches. And we worked on some other programs. We were planning a bit of a retreat. Like, we had some other folks that were going to join us in the U.S. And then we're in California. We were going to visit an initiation that Poke Runyon does at his retreat at his house in California, Southern California. So it's with the Church of Hermetic Sciences, and it's actually one of my more popular videos here on YouTube when I told the story of Poke Runyon. And so I think I can show it real quick if the internet is going to respond. Sometimes the internet doesn't respond the later in the day it gets, because it is what it is, So if you can, if you guys are looking at the screen, I'll share my screen really quick. It says entire screen, allow it, and it should respond. I think I gotta add the window, all the little steps that make it work correctly. Oops, hit the wrong button. Trying to hit that button right there. Okay, there it is there. I've been playing Baldur's Gate with my son too, Baldur's Gate 3. I don't know if you guys have played that game or not. I haven't played games in like 20 years, like computer games and stuff like that. So it's been kind of fun. So here's Way of the Scholar Warrior. We did this one together, 100-day challenge, and we worked pretty closely on it. That's me and him in an interview. And 10 months ago, this was right before he passed away. We did an interview video the night he died, and I still to this day don't know exactly what happened, but maybe some sort of I think some sort of pulmonary aneurysm, something like that, I think is what I gathered from his brother. But like, we did an interview and he said he wasn't feeling well and he went to lay down, and then for 2 weeks he didn't contact me, which we were in pretty close contact for the last 10 years. And so we would do like a video per, I got an alarm going off. That's interesting. 6:30 a.m. here in Twilight Zone, Old Peking, everyone. Welcome, Wizard, Warrior, Wanderer, Wayfarer, and Wildcat alike, wherever you are, whoever you are, and whenever you may be receiving this transmission. I hope you are doing well. Broadcasting from the Central Kingdom of the Celestial Dragon, Twilight Zonal, peeking far behind the bamboo firewall, trying to get at it and get some good magic done. Yeah, so we were doing these interviews, and that's in my dormitory there, which is actually under construction right now. Hopefully they're making them better, and hopefully they don't smell like chemicals when we go back to the school. But yeah, so that was that. And we were planning on doing this right here, Poke Runyon, the Church of Hermetic Science. And that's in my top popular videos right there. So this kind of thing, the middle pillar exercise, I like hermetics and ceremonial magic. And so we've got like Magic 101, Sex Magic, just the title, you know, pulls people in. 1,700 views on that. And then this one, 1,100 views. I tell the story of how I became interested in Poke Runyon and the Church of Hermetic Sciences right here in this video. Yeah, so if you scroll to the page. And another way you guys can interact if you're not familiar is you click on the More section and it gives you the About. And then in the About section, there is this thing, where is it? Oh, here, yeah, the Lunar Light Entertainment Discord. So I usually try to check this every day, sometimes a couple of times a day. And that's another way to interact with me. If you guys ever feel like you want to interact more behind the scenes, you can do that there. And this is the original blurb I put on my channel when I first started doing YouTube. Like, when was it? Back in 2016. So going on 10 years now. And I was just doing stuff like, you know, here it shows my interests: Taoist magic, guerrilla gardening, doing a swing dance class review, which COVID killed community. So like open mic and swing dance, that all got shut down during the big lockdown, because like you couldn't even legally go into public. It was really, really bad. And yeah, just everything about me and hanging out in China for the last 20 years. So let's see, let me drop that. Oh, you like video games? Have you played? Yeah, it's a great form of escapism. I agree with you totally. Yeah, I might do that. That sounds like a good idea right there. Do something in China for him, the date instead. Take a road trip for a couple of days, but plan an American adventure, Frank. And yeah, Frank and Loathing in Beijing. That sounds good. How funny. Yeah. Yeah, I did a lot of video games, you know, younger, in my late teens and mid 20s, you know, after college and stuff, and while working, come home and play video games and stuff. But I hadn't played any in like 20 years, and we over the holiday we got involved in playing Baldur's Gate 3 and talking about it, and so that was good fun. And then last summer vacation, we played Red Dead Redemption 2. So that was good fun too. Oh man, there's some really, really awesome games out there now these days. Like, Jesus, the graphics are so good, and like the storylines are so involved. And he's been playing God of War also. Not the newest one, but the one like right before that. I don't know if it's number 2 or number 3. Maybe number 3. Yeah, that's a big deal right there, you know, finding God in life. Italian Catholic, and he committed. Wow, that's tough, man. That's really tough. I was in a really dark place in my relationship with my wife, because she's very aggro, and she's a Chinese gal, but we've got 2 children. And she was really, really hard on me for a while there. And I got kind of into a dark place. And I actually contemplated the unraveling, you know. I contemplated that, what you're talking about here with your friend. I know it's verboten on YouTube. You can't say that word or whatever, or you're not supposed to. But I had gotten into a dark place. And I was out doing, like, I like to do kung fu in the morning, like come hell or high water, even in the freezing winter. I like to get out there and do a little kung fu practice. I've been doing it since I was, you know, just a kid. And so I got out there, and I was really, really in a dark place and contemplating it, like giving it serious consideration. And I like basically shook my fist at God, and I said, either you send me a sign ASAP, like right now. I tell this in my poker onion video if you listen to it. And I said, either you send me a sign ASAP, or it's gonna be lights out, and I'm gonna come up there into heaven, angry as a motherfucking hornet, you know, and I'm gonna challenge you directly for, you know, the shit that's been going down without any kind of relief in sight. You know, it's not even like enduring hardship isn't that bad if there's, you know, if there's relief in sight. Like if you know at some point it's going to, you know, there's going to be an end of the day, there's going to be that, you know, that happy time when you can sit back and drink a beer or whatever, you know, and chill for a while, or, you know, whatever it is that that is your way to unwind. And there just wasn't any. But anyway, so I did a ritual, and I like challenged God directly, and there was a response. I received a telepathic message, like not even telepathic. It was like a spirit directly whispered a single word into my ear. It's happened twice. Well, 3 times in total, but twice were directly connected. Like the first time and the second time were both like the same spiritual energy. And I'm not saying that it, you know, it was directly the Godhead, but it was definitely like the HGA, what we call the Holy Guardian Angel. And it was so tangible and so real, and a direct, like, audible word whispered into my ear by a spiritual entity that I know now. But you can hear more about it if you watch that Poker Onion video. But it gave me that little burst of spiritual faith and intention that I was like, okay, that's it right there. You know, I made the challenge and God responded, and at least the spirit realm responded. You know, I know God's kind of a big, high, lofty dude on high, and especially when you go up the Kabbalistic tree of life, the Hermetic tree of life, and you get into the higher realms, it's like, you know, it's like a really big energy, a big energy communicating with a very, very small energy. So the macrocosmic and the microcosmic. And yeah, but it's a real thing, man. So Sal Smith, I'm checking the ideas room, and let me read what you wrote, because that's going to take a second to read and then comprehend. Give me just a second. So, words have evolved for centuries. Me and the earth centuries of discoveries, both logic and realism. It shouldn't be taboo. In fact, this type of discourse on paradigm just allowed to continue and get worse communication, taking conversations. Yeah, I agree with you. And I think, you know, honestly, I think that's one of the more powerful things that we can do as humans, and having community. And I think that's what, like, the evil forces, the Dark Lords as they were, that's what they did under this last big, like, horseshit COVID lockdown, is that they sought to break up human community, that they sought to put an end to people's ability to socialize and assemble. Like, it's all a direct. I believe that you said you're in England, right? In the UK, so you're an Englishman. And but as an American, growing up an American, like, we've always embraced these certain human rights in the Bill of Rights as inalienable truths, that we're just born with these things, and it's not government's. Government doesn't have the right to violate them. And so, of course, number one is like freedom of religion and freedom of speech, right? Those go hand in hand. You can worship whatever you want, you can espouse whatever you want, and at the same time, that freedom to articulate your ideas and use any words in the language, you know, is almost like trying to offset the types of things that George Orwell was talking about in 1984, and the panopticon, being constantly surrounded by surveillance, that you can't have any liberty if government is trying to lord it over you, as it were. So yeah, it's things like suicide and other sensitive issues, sexuality or gender, stuff like that. Those are all adult conversations, and places like YouTube are supposed to be 18 plus anyway. And I always set all of my videos as specifically not made for kids. And I think you have to be like a YouTube. I think that's why my sub count and my view count is so low, because you do actually have to be logged in on your YouTube, I think, in order to watch my videos. So I try to put up those barriers anyway, so that we can talk about things that are serious, and I think it's important. I agree with you. But what I was getting to is that I think human fellowship and human communion, camaraderie, that's one of the more important things we do. And having spiritual conversations, conversations about the brass tacks of life, that's super important for adults, because we are preparing for the future. And we have to pave the way for those who are going to come behind after us. So yeah, I totally agree with both of those points you made there. So I was going to show you real quick. Let me see if this will work or not. I'm not even sure what's on this video, so hopefully it's good. But so basically this is the kind of thing I do every day. This is right outside my academy. There's a big wildland park, and so sometimes during the day, like at lunch or something, I'll just go out and practice some kung fu. This was over the summertime, I think, or at the end of last year. So this is the kind of thing I like to get up and do every morning before I do anything else. I got myself programmed where I break through the miasma and hardship no matter what, and go out and do my kung fu sets every morning. I've been doing it basically since I was a kid. I started with karate, 4, 5, 6 years old, was doing karate, and then moved on to taekwondo and did taekwondo for a few years, and then did kempo karate and kendo, the bamboo stick fighting of the Japanese, sword fighting essentially, but you use a bamboo sword. And I've done that my entire life, on and off. But I don't usually like the kendo clubs. At the kendo clubs, there's a lot of arrogance. I still have all my gear, and I was going about 10 years ago. I had a club here in Beijing that I would go to. But the Japanese arts, they seem to be extremely arrogant and serious. They're a little bit too serious for me. So I started in Chinese Kung Fu when I was 13, between 13 and 15 years old. I didn't really get into it hardcore until I was 16, 17, 18, high school age. But by that time, I was doing Chinese Kung Fu every single day and have never stopped. So Chinese Kung Fu and Qigong are kind of my mainstays, along with ceremonial magic. And so this is the kind of thing I get out there and do. See what, align the body, inhale, exhale. A lot of it's about posture and relaxation. So you could see me trying to relax here. And shooting things in the park in public is sometimes odious. You can see in the background, there's somebody there walking by. I forget exactly what form I was trying to do here. And so basic Shaolin salute. And then I was going to talk over this video. Of course, I was making a video here for YouTube. And so when you're trying to think about all the different things, camera angle, I knew my feet were getting cut off there, and I was okay, where do I set the camera? I'm going to go and check this in a second. Basic kick, this kind of thing. I'm trying to line everything up and think about all of the different things that go into to shooting a video and trying to make a good presentation. And so it puts a lot of extra elements in it. And just doing some basic kicks here. Yeah, so the basics are always fun. There are 12 basic kick forms for the Kung Fu sets. And I try to do those every day. And then there's 5 fists, 12 animals. Everything kind of corresponds. So I was kind of taking back to basics. But anyway, yeah, just to give you the idea of the kind of thing that I like to do every day with my Kung Fu. The 100-day challenge, the next one coming up. Good question, man. I appreciate that. I'm going to be focusing on hermetic sciences and psionics. So mind control techniques, which will include like hypnosis and then like all the different tools of the mind. So building memory palaces and then logic and reason systems and all different kinds of things. But I will begin it at the time of the spring equinox. So at or around March 22nd. That's when I'll launch it. And then it'll go for 100 days, which is, approximately 3 months. And I'll create an entire syllabus and do everything to provide material for study. And then if you want to participate, there'll be more information about it on my Ko-fi page. So I use the Ko-fi page to support the work for the 100-day challenge. So it'll look something like this. If I can pull it up real quick, I'm not sure how good YouTube is responding. Let me see here. Add to stage. Yeah, looks good. Okay, so yeah, if you go to Buy Me a Coffee /Frank Monday, and then you click on if you're looking at the screen right now, you can see it. If you click on the posts section, you can see some of the info on some of the past 100-day challenges. Like we did an astral challenge, we did hypnoapotheosis, we did pathways of the magi, we did pathways of magic, which were both a little different at different times anyway. Way of the Scholar Warrior, lots of different ones. So this one I'm calling Pathways of Psionics. And if this thing will ever load, I don't know if it will or not. Anyway, when it does load, you'll be able to find, like, I have the categories of the different 100-day challenges, and then I'll include a syllabus for what I personally study when I do these things, and then I just invite people to participate. Obviously, your own level of involvement, you do whatever you want, but if you think about the topic every day for 100 days, you're definitely going to learn a lot about it, and that's the kind of the idea. And I always look for suggestions on, if people are interested in what kind of thing they would like to do a 100-day challenge on, and then I might take that into consideration and do that as well. Obviously, I got an extra supporter. It used to only be 13 supporters on the Ko-fi page. Now it's up to 14. Very cool. I'll have to write an essay for this. I haven't written an essay for this page in a while. Wow, that's really loading slow, huh? I'll go ahead and leave it open in the background and see if it will load up. And if it does, I can show you. He says he's always kind of enjoyed and been more drawn to the Japanese culture, and they do come across as arrogant, but their films, culture, and style are second to none. Yeah, it's true. They have a much more serious attitude. Chinese are, like, I've been among both cultures quite a bit, and like I said, I've spent like over 15 years doing the Japanese martial arts, and they're very strict, very serious, and they do take everything very seriously. But the Chinese are far more easygoing, like in the martial arts culture, and they're just not as aggro. Like they laugh much easier. They just seem to be easier going people, in my opinion. And art and style they've influenced. It wasn't Japanese. Aerial arts. Movies would be no Wu-Tang Clan. Yeah, I plan on following it, but as you said, your prayers make moves and things. Yeah, it's good to to add your own flavor to whatever it is you're doing. That way you embody it, you make it yours, so to speak. I'm gonna double check and see if that ever loaded up. No, it didn't. Wow. Anyway, so I'm not exactly sure why that's not loading, but it may have something to do with the fact that I'm transmitting as well. And I forgot I got that music on so loud. I'll tone that down just a little bit. And then, a couple things I wanted to show really quick. Let me see if my windows are organized correctly. And we'll get into it a little bit. We're coming up on the last week of Aquarius. So if you've been keeping with your astro calendar, let me share it here real quick. Number one, I'll check the comments. And then, I remembered where I had borrowed that prayer from that I do at the start of the show each day. And I just call it the Arbitel of Abraxas, but it actually comes from, I call it the Adoration of Abraxas, but it actually comes from the Arbitel of Magic. And so I've looked at that a few times here on the channel, but we'll definitely look at the Arbitel again in the future. So today is Sunday, February 9th, 2025, in Twilight Zone Old Peking, and it looks like the moon is in the Starry Crab or Cancer. And so tomorrow we're going to be shifting into Leo. The moon will enter Leo, and then the sun will enter Pisces on the 18th of February. And a couple of things coming up. We got Valentine's Day. Oh, we just passed Groundhog Day. Wow, I didn't even know that. Totally had forgotten. And then there's something called Family Day. I've never heard of that before, but I guess that's a newfangled holiday. But yeah, we've got Valentine's Day coming up. I don't know how everyone feels about Valentine's Day, but I'll already be back at work by then. And our moon, it looks like, is in the second quarter. And so we're going to have a full moon on the 12th of February. So our moon phases are like this. In the first quarter moon, you've got that energy. And then in the gibbous moon, it says that it's a time for organizing, integrating, and planning. Keywords are perfecting, analysis, and interpreting. And then as we move into the full moon, and the full moon will be in Leo or Virgo. So the full moon is going to be full at 8:54 a.m. on the 12th. And so it'll still be in Leo because the moon will transit into Virgo at 8:08 p.m. But right now we're in Cancer and we're moving into Pisces. So I wanted to look at Pisces a little bit. And so if you guys know much about your astrology and your zodiac, it's in magic, we call it the zodiacal crown. So imagine it as a gold crown around your head. And for each of the zodiac signs, you have a gemstone that represents it, right? And then there's a sun and a moon floating around the head, and the moon, like a clock. Imagine a clock, a crown on your head, the COVID, as it were, right? And so the zodiacal crown is like, you see there, with the symbol of the ruling house. So the 12th house is the one of the subconscious. So as we move into the sign of Pisces, we'll have our tarot card association is the moon. This is the glyph. The ruling planet, it says, is Neptune. The element is water, and the color is light green. Interesting. I'm checking here for the ideas room. Pusha told us it's going to be another 6 months of winter. Oh, really? Okay. No such things as coincidence. Yeah, I'm done with the cold weather, man. I don't do well in cold weather. I grew up in Southern California, where it's pretty much like moderate temperature all the time. And so even after 20 plus years, like I moved to Boston in 2000. And so that was the first time I experienced a really cold winter. And so like into 99 to the end of 2001, I was in Boston, Massachusetts. and they get like 4 feet of snow in the winter, and that nearly killed me, man. And then Beijing, it's like right next to Siberia, so I've been in cold weather for the last 25 years plus, and I've just never gotten used to it because my first 25 years of life were in sunny Southern California. So Pisces says the emotional fishes are filled with so much compassion and empathy. They often put others' needs before their own. Ruled by Neptune, Pisces is intuitive and incredibly creative by nature. With a soul as deep as the vast oceans, Pisces thrive in a world of fantasy where imagination can flow freely. Driven by its strong connection to the spiritual world, the sign of the fishes knows how to balance cold, hard reality with the warmth of love and understanding. So if you guys don't know, I'm actually born in, my sun sign is Pisces, so my birthday is coming up, and I do kind of feel like this is applicable to me, that I do have a very strong Piscean nature. So it says, here's what we love about the Pisces, the good things about them, good and bad, right? Pisces are the most compassionate and sensitive sign of all. They empathize with everyone, so their friends, family, and even acquaintances will always feel loved and cared for. These are the things that maybe some of their more negative attributes, right? Dreamy Pisces have trouble distinguishing between fantasy and reality, and their tendency for escapism can result in problems with codependency, drugs, alcohol, and other bad habits. As the sun enters Pisces, this is something we should take into consideration, right? It's wonderful to dream, but don't let your imagination lead you into trouble. Keep one foot grounded in the real world and pay attention to everyday matters too. So that's important for me to remember as a Pisces, that you gotta stay grounded in the real world and pay attention to the day-to-day vicissitudes of getting shit done. It says Albert Einstein was a Pisces, Drew Barrymore, Cindy Crawford, Kurt Cobain, and others. John Hamm, he's a good guy. I like him a lot. He's the guy that played Don Draper in Mad Men, one of my favorite all-time TV shows. So Pisces tarot card is the moon. In all its mystical and idealistic wonder, the moon is the tarot card of Pisces. The moon card represents our ability to rely on our instincts and intuitions. While Pisces is known as the most intuitive sign of the zodiac, just as we live by the moon cycles, the moon tarot card encourages Pisces to go with the flow of nature instead of swimming against its currents. Nice. Good magic there. That's always fun. Yeah. So, one of the aspects of studying... Yeah, good question, man. March 5th is my birthday. He said, I actually live in Boston, but Boston, UK, a place where the Pilgrim Fathers set off from. Wow, how fascinating, man. I didn't even know there was a Boston in jolly old England. How fascinating. So is it Boston, England, or Boston, Scotland? Or I would imagine it's England, right? I'll have to look that up on Google Maps later. I don't have Google Maps loaded on my computer right now because you can see the amount of windows I've got open. And for some reason, Google Maps always pulls a lot of the usage of the CPU. And I'll probably have to update my computer at some point because my computer can't handle even opening it, really. Almost always crash if I do. Yeah, so are you a Pisces as well, or is your birthday near or around this time of year? Yeah, it's kind of a fun one. I'm a Pisces and then my sun is an Aries, so I'm the end of the zodiac cycle. and my sun is the beginning of the zodiac cycle. Oh, do you want to call in right now, Sal Smith? Do you have time to call in? If you do, I'll drop the link. I'll drop the link in the chat box if you do want to chime in. I haven't been dropping it in there right away because there are a couple of dudes that like to troll me, and I'm afraid that they'll like maybe try to porn bomb me or something. And something mad going on. Wow, yeah, let me know all about it, man. I was just about to look at Pisces in a little more depth. If I can find the tab, man. Okay, it's on the other page. Okay, absolutely. Yeah, I'm here for you, brother. There it is there. Again, I usually drop it before the show in the Discord. So if you join the Lunar Light Entertainment Discord, I dropped it in there like an hour before I went live. And if anybody wanted to chat like off the air, right, then we could chat either before the show or after the show off the air, because I know some people aren't comfortable chatting live on YouTube. But yeah, so in the future, if you join the Discord, you'll have the link before the show starts. And then after the show, sometimes I'll stick around and hang out for a while and chat with anybody that wants to chat. Since we're getting close to the bottom of the hour, if you do jump on, I'll do the channel updates real quick. I am the Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, Eastern Star Division, your friend and well-wisher Frank Monday, broadcasting to you from the Central Kingdom of the Celestial Dragon, Twilight Zone, Old Peking, far behind the bamboo firewall, reminding you to hit the likes for the YouTube algobots, keep them barking like Pavlov's dog. Check me out on buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday and put a little something in the tip jar. Y'all good-looking, sexy people out in Happy Land. Remember, O neophyte, goodness alone is power, silence is strength, will regaineth omnipotence, and love lieth at the foundation. Yeah, so there's the link. Let me know if you are out there in Happy Land and you'd like to
We are currently in the midst of a Hermetic revival, and at the heart of this return of ancient knowledge is the 7 Hermetic Principles. The 7 Hermetic Principles are laws that govern this reality. These governing principles are most well known in modern times through the book The Kybalion. However, their origins are as obscure and ancient as the mystical figure that they are attributed to, Hermes Trismegistus. There is vivid dispute as to the true identity of Hermes Trismegistus. Contemporary academia believes this character to be entirely fictitious, a compilation of Hellenistic viewpoints that was compiled by what you would call an ancient think tank.
All right. Greetings and salutations, Frater Sal. How you doing, man? Welcome to the Frank Monday show. How's it going, man? It looks like your mic is muted. Cannot unmute guest. Their mic isn't connected, it says. Okay. So you're gonna have to figure out what's going on with your mic, amigo. Oh, there you go. Looks like you got it now. Greetings, Sal. How are you doing, man? Greetings, Sal. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Can you hear me?
I can, yeah. You got to turn off YouTube in the background, though.
Oh, yeah, hold on. Wait, yeah. Bear with me. I'm doing good, man. Can you hear me? Let me turn that
I can, yeah. You got to turn off YouTube in the background, though.
Yeah, let me do it. Bear with me. There we go. How's that?
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, sweet. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. How about yourself?
Yeah, nice. It's fucking decent to finally talk to you, mate. Like, fucking... Right, so something mad just happened, though, bud. When did you just say your birthday was?
March 5th.
You can go fuck yourself, mate. I mean that in the nicest possible way, but go fuck yourself.
Yeah, why?
I don't believe it coincidence. I'm March the 5th.
Are you serious? Wow.
Serious. I shit you not, March the 5th, 1988.
Oh, okay. 73 for me.
Oh, damn. Well, when you said that, it blew me away, mate. Like, I only just started following you. I had some random thing pop up on YouTube. And I won't even bullshit you, mate. When I first saw you, I thought, like, it was a little bit of a laugh or something. Do you know what I mean? I don't mean that in a bad way at all. And I clicked on it just to be like, I don't know, something about it. I was like, I'm interested by this guy. What's going on here? And the conversations you've had, the things you've spoken about, it's kind of, I don't know, you've opened my eyes in ways. Like, you've gone from being something to being fucking something. Like,
so if I'm correct, you were born in the year of the dragon, right?
Yeah.
So you just had what we call in Chinese your dragon year just came up. So it was probably a fairly challenging year for you.
Oh, mate, most definitely. I was having some serious mental health issues. I've just taken 2 months off of work. I've been dealing with like anxiety and depression for about 20 years or so, and not realized I was dealing with that until the year just gone, just before we had our first child, me and my partner. Me and Mrs., we just had our first kid, little boy, born 12th of the 12th, 24. I had a really rough time recently, and in all honesty, the first time we spoke, because I'd seen your things a couple of times, you had a live stream, and you were shit-faced steamed the first time I commented on one of your videos. It was great, mate. It was great. You were calling me a faggot. You were saying this, that, and the other, and I felt this connection from then. I understood that you didn't mean it in a bad way. None of it was meant in a bad way. It was just fucking funny. It's exactly what I needed.
That's funny.
I don't reach out to people online, man. I've got a little brother who lives in Canada, and I don't understand how to have that conversation and connection with people. When you're raised with them face to face and you know people, like, that's how I interact with people, is face to face.
Right.
But then there was, I don't know, mate, I honestly don't know what it is with you. You're fucking wicked good, man. Like, I was saying to my missus tonight, like, I genuinely love you, man. Like, you've done so much for me and not even fucking realized it. Like, you're a great guy, bud. You really are.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, that was a funny night. I think I probably ended up putting that video as like unlisted.
You deleted it, yeah, sadly, because
it's not deleted.
What, no, have you still got it? Yeah.
Yeah, if you have the original link, you can still like look at it through your history.
I tried getting to it, but I couldn't get to it. If you could get that to me somehow, that would be amazing, because I make hip hop music.
Okay.
And obviously, that's one of the things we talked about first off, was like hip hop music, or just music and whatnot. We were talking because you were drunk, you were singing, you sung an Irish song to me.
Right.
You were singing Irish songs to me, man. Like, we were talking about Irish music, because I love the Irish culture. I love the American. I love culture. You know what I mean? Like, every single one of them. I don't believe in cultural appropriation, any of that nonsense. Culture is culture. Culture is art. It's there for everyone. It's developed and created for X amount of years. But when you were singing and when you were saying whatever, like, I would love to have taken some of the things you were saying to me, because obviously it was personal and you kick it off me. So if anyone's got a right to use it as well, it would be me. But like putting that with some of my hip hop beats and shit, like would just be fun, man.
Yeah, I think I was like 4 or 5 beers in it that night. I remember you reminded me to drink a bottle of water before I crashed out.
Yeah, that was our first connection. And then you said about that the day after as well. I was like, motherfucker remembers me.
Yeah, that was a good idea too, because like I did have a bit of a hangover at work the next day.
Mate, all I do is I drink a lot of whiskey, and I know for a fact as long as you have that water, gets into the bloodstream, sorts everything else out, you can nearly be right as rain the day after.
Yeah. So that was good advice. But yeah, that was a fun night. I've been because our we have teachers' dormitories, but they've been under construction recently. Like they're fixing some of the pipes or something. So I've been staying in a hotel for work.
Are they paying for that?
No, they're not.
Oh, that comes out of your pocket, yeah.
Yeah, it's not too bad though. It's like it works out to be it's not bad. It's like $20 a night or something.
Well, because obviously with the way things are going right now, like that's one of the things, because I don't know if it's difficult for me to do the like comments and stuff and say things in the right amount of time and like really have a conversation with you. Right, and I feel like we're both the same sort of people where we like to talk a lot. Do you know what I mean? But when you were saying about the tariffs that they brought over in China and the way that that's happened so quick and overnight was very interesting. It was like ground level reporting in my eyes. So how are you finding that now, buying your luxuries whilst you're over there with the amount that's increased? Is that really affecting you, or are you doing all right still?
Yeah, not so bad. Like I'm in a pretty favorable position, like in society, as it were, you know, like I'm not at the bottom of the barrel, obviously, but I'm not at the top either, but I'm somewhere low middle. So for me, like it's not terrible, but it like, you notice the increase, like when a bag of coffee goes from like the equivalent of like, I don't know, probably close to 20 pounds UK, like it'd be around 20 pounds, up to like 35. I mean, that's huge.
That's crazy. It really is. It makes all the difference, that does, doesn't it?
Yeah, and beef too, because I usually buy like imported American beef, like USDA Prime. Yeah. And so that has gone up about 50%. So like if a steak was costing me $10 last week, now it's costing 15. So yeah, it's
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
What do you reckon they're going to do around it? Do you think, because I can't see the Chinese government backing down on it, to be honest with you. I know the Canadians backed down to Trump's tariffs. The Mexicans have done it as well. And I think he's doing great things, but the Chinese have got so much of a chokehold on every other nation as well, haven't they? Because, I mean, even in my country, mate, like I'm a cobbler key cutter. So most of my keys and most of my stock, they come from China. Okay. And if it wasn't making things the way they're making them, it's going to cost us X amount. So it's an interesting thing to see going on right now, because I think they're the ones that are going to stand their ground instead of these other nations. Yeah, as an American, how do you feel about it?
I think they will too. Like I was actually talking to another guy who's pretty high up in the echelons of society here. And he actually told me, he's like, yeah, this isn't something we should talk about in public, but he did give me some, like, because we were out.
In all honesty, mate, like when I don't mean to interrupt you, but like, when I first started talking to you, because obviously you live in China and I know next to nothing about China, but I know what the West tells me about China. And when you were saying, like, you've told me it's a good country and blah, 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 and yet, but I asked you about Taiwan and Hong Kong, and that was one of the things that really, really did make me respect you a lot as well, was because you said you didn't know enough about them to weigh in. And I respect that so much from somebody in that days, because people are so quick to jump in and talk about things they don't know anything about.
Right.
And it's such a hot point and such a hotbed of political speech as well when it comes to Hong Kong and Taiwan, as to what's really going on with those nations and the way the Chinese government is with them. I mean, like, so in the West, obviously, Disney are pieces of shit, mate, but they've got Fox, they've got this, that, and the other now. They've bought everything, haven't they?
Yeah,
And there is an episode in The Simpsons where they did the Tiananmen Square bit. Disney then edited it out. So it's the way the West is now pandering through media towards the Chinese, which I don't want, but at the same time, I don't want you to speak about stuff because from what I've heard about their government, like the whole, I don't even want to say it, South Park thing brought up something to do with an A.A. Milne character, teddy bear. And
right.
yeah, they are so, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Because it's just what I've heard about their government.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. Like with YouTube over the last 5 years, like during lockdown and stuff, like they're so censorious and sensitive to anything of a political nature that I used to talk a lot about it. Like I don't care, you know, I'm an American, so we grew up with freedom of speech, and we feel like we can pretty much just talk any kind of shit we want. But like during that whole era, like literally got so many strikes, like community strikes for talking about certain things that I just stopped. I mean, like if I'm going to be on YouTube and I want to maintain and have a channel and be able to talk to people at all, then I just have to avoid any type of verboten topic that would make them. Because even like I'm a super small channel, like, you know, I got under 1,000 subs, and even
I put in one of your comments as well, though, that doesn't matter, mate. It doesn't matter how many people you got following you. Like I have never been touched by anybody on the internet like you have fucking touched my soul and my spirit. Like, you have no idea how much you have helped me. I don't have words for it, mate. I honestly don't have fucking words for it. I can't express it to you.
Good magic, then. Yeah,
that's what you want to aim for. The numbers don't matter. If you can reach that one person and help somebody, like I was in a dark place, and that first time when I commented on your thing, and you just laid into me, and you did. But if you look at the way society is nowadays, how many of these snowflakes would have kicked off and been like, "Oh no, I'm offended," and reported you? I got it. I know those people, mate. I break my friends' balls. Do you know what I mean? All right, that's what life's about: ribbing each other, taking the piss, having a laugh.
Yeah. That's how I grew up too. You know, I grew up in a family of like 5 kids, and then, you know, as a boy in the neighborhood, there was always, you know, like 6, 7, 10 of us running around together, and so taking the piss out of each other was just par for the course. So when I had thrown a few back, and I felt like you were coming in kind of talking shit, and but you weren't. I realize now that you weren't. It was because I got
that. And I was talking shit. You wouldn't have given me the shit you gave me.
Right. I was 2 shades to the wind, and so yeah. And right before you, I think there was an Indian guy in there, like saying something about Palestine or something, and I was like, yeah. So I was kind of unhinged at that point.
Yep. Well, in all honesty as well, mate, I could have originally been one of those people. Like, I was like seeing you like you were talking like, oh, you're full of shit, you're this, that, and the other. But no, mate, please don't take that in the wrong way. Please don't. Like, I don't want you to lose. But it was that initially, and then I don't know why I kept getting drawn back to you. Like, there was something about you. I kept getting drawn back to you, and it wasn't even. It didn't even take that long for you to start making sense to me, or for me to realize, like, no, you're a decent person. You're a genuine, honest fucking guy. You're not one of these people to just take the piss out of and laugh and everything. You're being earnest. Like, you're not like, this is the issue with it. It wasn't anything against you. It's against all these other idiots that are out there. There are so many stupid people that are allowed access to these things that tell you, oh, you should do this thing, and you need to do this, and blah, blah, blah. And you're not a man if you don't do this, and you're not a bloke if you don't do yada, 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 and you should have this amount of money and be this tall and be this thing. And it's the Fight Club thing. When Brad Pitt's on the bus with Edward Norton and he looks at the Calvin Klein poster and he goes, is that what a man's supposed to be?
Right.
That's what every single person that does the internet for me has always been. I've never And because of that, it's then given everybody else this stigma in my brain. Because I've wanted to be one of those people. Like, I love making hip hop music. I love doing this, that, and the other. And I've tried putting myself out there a few times on the internet because I don't have any friends. I don't have this, that, and the other. I've tried making connections and doing whatever, but it never works out. So I tried doing it on the internet, and they were even worse than the people that I met in the physical reality.
Wow.
So I then thought all these people as just being fake and nonsensical and blah, blah, blah. And I tarred you with the same brush. And on like my second or third video that I saw of you, because like you've got to think about it, mate, because you come from the same sort of era that I do as well. Like what year were you born?
73.
73. So I was 88. So there's what? 10 years. No, what the fuck? I can't do math.
15,
shit.
right? Yeah.
Tell I'm not Jewish. 15. It's fine. I looked at my missus then and said it to her because she is Jewish. It's sweet.
But it's still pretty close too, because like that would put you at about 40, and I'm like 50.
I'm 37 in March this time.
Okay.
Yeah, I've just had a newborn as well. He's turned 2 months the Thursday just gone. And I did the maths around that as well, mate. And I'm kind of a little bit disappointed in myself that I've had him at this age, because when he turns 18, I'm going to be 55. And I already feel old. No, but I already feel old now.
My son.
So I can only imagine how old I feel then.
Yeah, I'll be 55 when my son's 18. So same.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah. No. He's 15 now. So. No.
Frank, mate, what the fuck are these coincidences going on right now, bud?
Yeah, like you were saying, there are no coincidences. Some sort of
there are.
synchronicity.
I don't believe them. I believe in fate and karma and certain things, and everything happens for a reason.
Yeah,
I've never met anybody that had the same birthday as me. That's why I had to talk to you right now, because as soon as you said that, it just rattled my brain.
Well, that's interesting too, because my son has shown a lot of interest in maybe doing his college in England.
I remember you saying about this.
Yeah. Which part are you in? Are you like?
I'm in. We're in Boston. We're in Boston, Lincolnshire, and if you go just up the way from us, we've got the Pilgrim Fathers, which is literally where the Mayfair set off to then go to America and establish your country.
Oh wow!
But I wasn't born around here. I was born in a different place, and then my dad was in the army, and we moved around. Well, but there's some more history to that I'd like to have a proper conversation with you. Do you know what I mean? Just me and you at some point, and really get to know each other. Like, I feel like we'd really get on, man. Like, I really properly like you, bud, which is strange.
Yeah, sure. Next time I'm over there, we could have a beer together. How far outside?
That sounds great to me.
How far outside of London is that?
A good long way. But if you were to give me, the difficulty with it is obviously we're a small country. But travel around here, if you don't drive, is so bloody expensive, mate. Yeah. Like, to get a train down to somewhere and deal with this and deal with whatever. If you plan it 6 months in advance, it's a damn sight cheaper.
Sure.
So, as soon as you know you're coming over, you let me know, and I will be down there.
What about renting vehicles in England? Because it's like really easy in America to rent a car and then just drive around. But what about... How strict are they in England on foreigners driving in the country?
No, they're not that strict with it, to be fair. I mean, we've got like X amount of Eastern European people, like Portuguese, like this. We've got a variation of different people that always bring in delivery trucks and everything over as well. So I wouldn't see renting a vehicle being a problem. But my issue is because I just don't have a driver's license. I've never really seen the point in driving in a country so small that has a fairly reasonable train system.
Right.
I mean, like they turn up on time most of the time, but they are cheap enough.
What are the other major cities like? Is there another major city near where you live, or no?
Well, we have Nottingham, we've got Peterborough, we've got... I'll tell you, the nicest place to meet you would be Cambridge. And I actually spent a bit of time around there as well. I went, Cambridge is beautiful. Like, Cambridge is genuinely really, really nice.
Wow, that's fascinating too, because when I was in Boston, I actually worked in a town called Cambridge.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah. So lots of synchronicities between us somehow. Maybe
Yeah,
we're
it really is.
maybe we have familial ties like in the past, right? Like
Well,
somehow our
do you know
bloodline.
who your father was? Do you know who your dad was?
Yeah, I know my pops and stuff, but
What was
his
his name?
his last name is actually German. It's von Montage, which in
Oh,
German
okay.
means Monday. But
Well, that could have been interesting, man, because I never knew who my real dad was, and he was actually Italian, and his last name was Tonelli. But I've
okay.
never seen a photo of him. I've never seen. All I know is his name. Other than that, I know nothing whatsoever. So
Well, then
there could have been something crazy going on then.
okay. My mom's family is actually from Ireland, and they were Kincaids.
Oh,
But
Kincaid's as well.
yeah, but yeah, they were Irish folks from the Kilkenny area.
Because from what I remember you saying, you're from LA originally, aren't you?
Yeah. My pops grew up in New York though, like, and my mom's family was from Tennessee. I don't know if you know much about the U.S., but like the Tennessee Appalachian Mountains, they were
I
like
know,
entirely Irish settled.
I know a fair amount about the US. I don't know. There's always been something about America that's
Yeah, so
nice, man. But
in
it's
in that country
I
area,
think it's
there's like
the amalgamation of cultures.
yeah, there's still like entire enclaves that claim like Irish heritage, and some of them still speak like Gaelic. They still have Gaelic words in their Celtic or whatever Gaelic words in their daily speech, like their vernacular. So they sound kind of funny.
Well, we have the same sort of thing around here. I have with the job that I do, I have like a variation of different customers that come in and see me, and I have like a big part of the traveller community, if you know what that is.
No, I don't. No.
They are like very, very, very Irish, but a lot of them have actually never really lived in Ireland.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'd be an interesting thing for you to look into if you were to look into the traveller community in England, because there's a
Do
lot
you
of
guys call
people
them?
at the English. Sorry,
Do you guys
go on.
call them jippos?
Yeah, they're called gypsies or pikeys by some people, but mate,
Okay.
I have a few of them that come into me, and a lot of people they look and then knows them, but they're sort of the earth people. They live their own way, and if you're good with them, they're good with you. There's something about their culture as well that I really respect with the way they are with things. They're so brash and old school about shit in ways.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'll have to look into it a little bit. There was I forget, Guy Ritchie movie that
Sorry, I'm
Snatch.
smoking at the same time as
Yeah,
talking to you as well.
I don't know if you
He's
ever saw it or not, but
still there?
yeah. It was a Guy Ritchie movie called Snatch. Did you ever see that one?
I did lose him.
Yeah, I'm still here. I don't know if you can hear me or not. Hello. I'm gonna check the
Yeah.
feedback loop on YouTube. Yeah, I believe it was a Guy Ritchie film. It was called Snatch. I don't know if you ever saw it or not.
Yes.
But yeah, that paints kind of an interesting picture of the gypsies or the jippos.
Yeah.
I don't know how accurate it was,
That when
but
Guy Ritchie used to be good.
yeah, it was a fun one.
Yeah, it's great, mate.
Yeah, I'm trying to check the YouTube and see if it's still connecting clearly. Error. Yeah, that's one of the things about being in China is the internet never really works 100%.
Lagging with you a bit.
Right. Yeah, there's some lag,
I don't know.
some feedback. That's okay though. Yeah, so on this next 100-day challenge, I'm thinking about getting into the
While modern mystics and the more spiritually
Hermetic
inclined alike
principles.
know him to
Not sure if you're familiar with the Egyptian Tahuti. You know this guy?
Yeah. Let me
Yeah,
just.
so he's. Go ahead. Yeah, he's the Lord of Magic.
be dated way further back than the Hellenistic period, for he is the transmitter and teacher of ancient knowledge to the prophet Moses, if not Moses himself, for he has been affirmed by early Kabbalists as Moses. Suffice it to say that these principles, although best preserved and transmitted through the vehicle of Hermeticism, are of such a universal and
Wow, she's got some solid eyebrows, huh? Check this broad out. Oh, I lost you. Looks like you dipped out. Yeah, that was good fun, guys. Sal Smith tuning in from jolly old England. Good to see you. Yeah, it's kind of cold here in Beijing this morning, so I'm just having my morning coffee. I thought I would look at a few of these Hermetic principles.
know him
Tahuti, they say, was the Thoth, Thoth, was the teacher of Moses, and so Moses did Hermetic magic, and if you remember, he battled off with the Egyptian wizards during that period of biblical history. Again, we don't know how much historical fact there is to all of that, but one theory I have about this type of thing is that looks like Sal's back. Hey, good to see you, man. I'll pop you in here in a second, but it says your device is not connected. It says you will need to connect your microphone in order to be able to. Let me see if it's working now. All I see is the spiraling wheel of death, the wheel of time there. But yeah, we'll wait and see when that connects.
to be dated way further back than the Hellenistic period, for he is the transmitter and teacher of ancient knowledge to the prophet Moses, if not Moses himself.
Interesting how they call Moses a prophet. Is that a fact? I don't remember him like saying anything prophetic, but maybe I'm not as up on my biblical scholarship as I should be. I remember him doing some pretty interesting things. Like, didn't he part the Red Sea and talk to the burning bush and bring water out of the rocks and turn sticks into snakes and stuff? I remember him battling with the Egyptian wizards, but I don't remember him making any prophecies per se. Yeah, let me know if you can hear me, Sal, or when it doesn't look like you're connecting, or maybe my thing has timed out. Not sure. I'm gonna try something here to reset my thing. Give me just a second. Not exactly sure if this is working correctly. We're seeming to get some serious lag. Yeah, anyway, it is as it goes, the internet, you know how it is. Let's look at a little more of this. I'll wait and see if Sal comes back.
For he has been affirmed by early Kabbalists as Moses. Suffice it to say that these principles, although best preserved and transmitted through the vehicle of Hermeticism, are of such a universal and timeless origin that they truly belong to time immemorial, for they are indeed timeless and ancient wisdom that belongs to no one school of thought. The principles are 7. First, we have the law of mentalism, then the law of correspondence, then the law of vibration, then the law of polarity. After that, we have the law of rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. The principle of mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is mental. This principle embodies the truth that all is mind. It explains that the all, which is the substantial reality underlying all outward manifestations and appearances, which we call the material universe, is, in short, spirit. And spirit, although undefinable, is likened unto the infinite living mind.
So, an interesting way to articulate it there. Let's see. One thing, the way this video is being presented, it seems somehow at first blush to be a bit agenda driven. Like, we can see the cosmos here, and then there are certain elements even in this imagery that are hearkening to things like space travel, and then we see like these domed structures, and so I find this a little bit arbitrary and away from like actual reality. Like we're not doing much space travel as far as I know. We're not a spacefaring planetary race, and then those domed structures, I find that a little bit weird. Like if it were up to me and I was doing the same thing, then it would just be some regular houses, and then I don't know, maybe some people flying kites or something, because that's a little closer to the truth of what we're able to achieve in general. You know, we've got fighter jets and airplanes and stuff like that, but there seems to be a drive to do this space race type thing, which doesn't really play out. Like we don't really have a presence off world, as it were, and it doesn't seem like we're really that close to it. Looks like Sal might be back. Let's see if I can pull him in here.
Hello, mate.
Sal?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Hey! Oh, thank God for that. That was a struggle and a half, mate.
Yeah, it happens. The internet doesn't always work correctly.
Yeah, whereas if we're in the pub having a conversation, all you did was go up and have a piss. Do you know what I mean? Well, I've got to wait 2 minutes. You'll be back.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's a struggle and a half. I just don't like it. Technology is a weird thing, mate. It really is. It gives you such opportunities, but such a disconnect at the same time.
Right. That's a big part of it. Must be pushing to.
Yeah. Go on.
Must be pushing towards evening in England right now. Yeah.
It's now. Oh yeah, it's nearly midnight. About 20 to midnight.
Okay. Have you got the day off tomorrow? I guess you probably do. It's the weekend.
Yeah, it's Sunday. Yeah, so I'm off tomorrow. Well, like I say, I've had 2 months off from work, like mental health stuff and whatnot.
Yeah.
And we've just had our first child as well. Like we've got a newborn still around the house. It's 2 months old. I turned 2 months on Thursday. And that's one of the things like the issue with it is I don't like talking online. I don't like my voice being out there. I don't sound like myself. But I've got confidence when I'm out and about with people. When it comes to recordings and technology, it's strange to me. It's alien. I don't really understand it.
Right.
One of the things that I wanted to type out, and that's my issue when it comes to your streams, is I'm trying to type stuff, but you're saying so many things as well, and I want to react and talk to you about all of them. And when you were bringing up the date, is there a specific thing around the 12th to 12/24? Because that's when our child was born, and I have a little bit of OCD when it comes to some numbers. I like even numbers, and the only odd number I like is 5, just because it's in the middle. and if you add it to itself as well, it makes 0, so it becomes nothing. I don't know. There's just always been something around that. But then 12,
Yeah.
12, 24, the fact that the 12 and the 12, then it was the same year as well. Is there something significant around that date that you know of through magic or through your belief?
I'm not huge into like I haven't studied a lot of numerology or gematria or anything like that. The 12, obviously the 1 and the 2, right? You have the magician in tarot. You have that's the 1 is the magician and the 2 is the high priestess. So it formulates a good like a yin yang, like a Tai Chi symbol. And when they combine, of course, then you'll have the 3, which is a trinity. So yeah, it's kind of like representative of the divine child, right? So, and obviously it's Christmas Eve. That's a kind of a big deal, right?
Well, no, it wasn't Christmas Eve. It was the 12th of the 12th.
Oh, the 12th of
Yeah, the 12th of December.
12,
the year
12, 24. I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, and we actually named him. We gave him an American name. Like my lady just came up to me and said, "Don't say his name." But I'm not going to give you his full name, but I'll give you his first name. So we named him Raylan, Raylan.
Okay.
Which,
that's
you look it up as well. Sorry, go on.
Go ahead.
Continue, please.
No, go ahead.
No, I'd like to. I'd like to hearing you talk as well, and I feel like I'm talking over you, which I don't feel like I've got the right to do. To be honest with you.
No worries. You're a guest here. Well, I was just going to say.
Sorry, I will just say this one quickly. You've almost been like a guru to me without knowing about it for the last 2 months of my life. So I feel that's why I don't really feel like I've got a right to talk over you. But at the same time, I have so many things that I want to talk to you about because of how many times I've listened to you, for lack of a better term, preaching.
Yeah.
Like, you're saying something, man, and you're saying it in such a traditional way, but a modern way at the same time, something that feels very accessible to me. And the way that you're able to just put yourself out there. And I know you want to reach a wider audience, but I don't think it's about that. It's just about making that one connection or those couple of connections. Even if that's not all the way through what you're saying, but to say that one thing, like Tupac said, he will not be the person that changes the world, but he's the one that's going to plant the seed. He will plant the seed in the mind of the person that will do it.
Right. And like as an expression, the way I express myself through YouTube, it's obvious that I'm not trying to become like a everyday product. Like it's not going to reach a broader audience. So like you said, it's correct. All I'm interested in is reaching a smaller group of initiates that are interested in cultivation of these things, like greater mind powers and magical energies and, manifestation in life and these different types of things. It's not something that's palatable to a really broad audience. It's only of interest to people who have already had some experience with things like chaos magic and mind change and stuff like this.
There's the thing though, mate. I've never had any experience with any of that stuff.
Yeah.
None of it. Nothing. Never in my life. Like I was christened Church of England. My nan is very religious. Used to go to church every Sunday. But now the way they treat her in church and the way the community's become, she doesn't really go anymore. I had a ridiculously strict Catholic friend who was raised Italian Catholic, and like I said to you in one of the comments as well earlier tonight, he committed suicide. And if you're schooled on your religious beliefs, obviously you know what the Catholics believe when it comes to suicide. And there was a time he reached out to me and I couldn't help him. In my country, we have the Muslim grooming gang thing going on where they're abducting young girls and blah, blah, blah happening. But at the same time, we've had a lot of people who've been on the streets. Since I was a child, we had Hamza Youssef, I believe was his name, who was the guy who had a hook for a hand and he was walking the streets and he was slagging off his country and saying whatever about us, and we just let him get away with doing it. But I've also had Muslim people who I've worked very closely with, who worked in the shop with me, and they were lovely, amazing people. And a lot of the music I listen to from America, a lot of the Wu-Tang members, they're Muslim, and they praise Allah. And this is why I've always had a disconnect when it comes to religion, because as far as I'm concerned, every religion should preach, or fundamentally, every religion or every ideology or idealism preaches the same thing. It's about love, it's about peace, it's about freedom of expression, but most of all, it's about understanding. Understanding is where I think we are really seriously lacking nowadays. And it's the way all of these religions now, unfortunately, are taken and tainted and turned into being this certain thing. And yes, there's bad things when it comes to the Muslim religion, where the Prophet Muhammad took a child at the age of whatever age. They took a young girl at whatever age. Well, you know what I'm talking about. But we've had the same thing with the Christian religion as well, where these things are done.
100 years ago, we had the same thing in the U.S. Like people were, taking wives. 70-year-old men were taking 12-year-old wives.
Yeah.
So
well, the age of consent in my country is still 16, whereas and obviously I know it changes in America, and I think that is one of the interesting things about America, is that the law changes from state to state.
Right.
But it must also be so difficult and challenging for it to be in that way, because you never really know where you stand. You have to be so clued up just to go, you're stepping 1 foot across into this place and you now do that thing, and now all of a sudden it's a felony charge. But if you were to go 2 foot over this way,
yes, as far as I know, most of the states in the U.S. would still have the age of consent as low as 16, and I think some might even have it as low as 14 still.
That's what I believe it is in some of them as well. And I don't know where it is, and I might be speaking out of term, but you may well get this bit of comedy as well. Is that I believe it's states like Alabama.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Louisiana,
back to countries and shit. Yeah. And I have no problem with that. It's the cult, like America, and that's why I think I love them as well, because there is so much culture in every single part of it.
Yeah, and it's only going to be the more progressive ones like California and New York, where they've got a higher standard, and it's due to the fact that they're more developed, and there's a more.
You say that with California, but if you see the state of it nowadays, and I've never been to the Americas, but I watch enough about them, and I watch a lot of independent documentaries around these places as well. And to see the state, the homeless over in California right now, especially Los Angeles and places like that.
Madness. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and the way that the Biden administration cleared it up when they knew the Chinese people were coming over to visit. So they knew they had the Chinese politicians coming over, and immediately now everywhere's clean. So no longer on the Hollywood Boulevard have you got these crackheads and these people on spikes and just laid there off their nut, but it was all tidy and nice and clean. And that's what annoyed me with the Biden administration, and it's the same thing that annoys me with my government, is they pretend things okay. They'll wash it up and make it look like it's all right. But if you are from there, and if you really look at what's going on now, in this day and age, we really do have the capability of peeling back the layers and seeing what is going on behind the scenes. But it's whether or not we choose to believe that that's going on, or if we choose to believe that what they tell us is the truth. And when you do really see what's going on and the way that they are now playing with things, and it breaks your heart. Like the people that are going without. And I have a Zippo lighter, and on one side of it says "fuck communism." So I got this from a Dark Ennis graphic novel. It's called Preacher. He's an American guy from Texas, abused by his family, blah blah blah. And I connected with that character for some reason. And on the other side of it, I put my own thing, which was "fuck nationalism." because I don't believe in being proud of your nation unless you're proud of yourself or the thing that your nation stands for. And if you can no longer be proud of your government, how can you now be proud of your country? And I don't understand how any person in the West right now could be proud of our country, other than America, with the things that Trump is trying to do. But for me to say that as a white man, I could now be deemed as a racist or a misogynist or whatever the fuck. Or a nut. Like, it's crazy the way that the left have now turned everything against us. And if anybody's a fascist in this world, it's the way the left have gone. I used to identify as those people, but now I would be deemed as far right, which is crazy to me, especially with having a young boy who is a white male. Like, I have a son who's now 2 months old, and I'm terrified about the way the world's going to look at him if he's got the same sort of beliefs and views that I have, which isn't to be proud of where you're from or your people, but it's to be proud of all of our people and all of our culture and the way that we're becoming and the way that we should be evolving.
Right. Well, with that said, too, I would say we've got to realize like the global view, and when we compare ourselves like as Westerners with the other countries, we need to realize that like if you make a global perspective and you think about like being in other countries, that the Western worlds are the only ones that have lowered themselves to the point where that we think there should be a universal suffrage for everybody, and that slavery is no longer acceptable, right? And that people should have these religious freedoms and stuff like this. We're the only nations on the planet that are doing that. And I believe it all began with the British people and their drive for the Magna Carta, right? And alleviating themselves of like the burden of an oppressive ruling class, right? And breaking away from that as far back as what I believe that was like 1200 AD. So we're talking like almost 1,000 years ago, which, like you said, you know, it put the seed in the mind of the American colonists that they could do something similar with like the Declaration of Independence and then the American Revolution. But that the Western world is the only one that's done that. If you go into an Arabic world, or you know, like you're saying, predominantly Muslim or Indian or Asian or African, ain't nobody playing those fucking games. No, the homogeneity of their society is absolute. Yeah, and you will be a second class citizen, and you will not have any of the same freedoms as those people enjoy.
Which I completely agree with. If you're in whichever country you go to, whenever I've ever visited a foreign nation, you respect and abide by their laws and rules. But this is the crazy thing for me in the West, and that's what wilds me about the way people are now kicking off about Trump. And what's wilds me about my own country is if you say something against these people who are coming over to your country and not respecting your laws, by your own government, you are now deemed as the bad guy.
Right.
So it's nothing to do with the people themselves. I have no problem. And the thing that really annoys me, but mate, okay, well, let me boil it down. So England, the British Isles, we have been raped, pillaged, colonized, invaded, however many times. We had the Scandinavians, Norwegians, Vikings, we had the Romans. We have been destroyed. But yet at some point we were able to build ourselves back up and created one of the greatest empires that this world has ever seen. To the point that we still hold standings in some countries, and even parts of the Falklands want to stay and remain under British rule. And it was because of that, because we went through so much that we became strong. There's a saying, and I'm going to butcher it, I will not get this verbatim, but soft times make weak men, hard times make strong men. And nowadays, everything is so soft and lenient, and it's not even through physicality. Right, so you were born 73, yeah? Do you remember when people used to get their shirt clothes fucking robbed for everything? They'd have their trainers taken, you'd get slapped, you'd get battered, you'd get whatever. Like bullying. Like now they say bullying is somebody saying this one word to you, so somebody calling it. And I'm sorry if this gets you in trouble on your channel. I'm I'm going to check with you first off. Can I speak with you openly and use words that are no longer supposedly allowed in society, or at least in this domain?
Yeah. Speak your mind.
That's okay. So the word faggot. Now, when I say the word faggot, I don't mean that towards like a gay person. A gay person's a gay person. When I say the word gay or faggot, most of the time I mean this straight person who dresses in a certain way or acts like whatever the fuck. Language is how you use it. I'm not using anything in a derogatory way when I say it, unless I'm attacking you. Right. So one of the most, I don't know how I've ended up on this tangent, mate. I've wanted to speak to you for so long, so much is popping off in my brain, and it's been my first week back at work. I had a proper bit of a drink tonight as well, but it's just it's
worries.
fucking so good to talk to you, Frank. Like, lovely to talk to you, man. Where was I? I don't know where I was at. I genuinely got a little bit starstruck then.
Well, no, yeah, it's like you were feeling out the intention of the language. Like, if you don't have an intent to cause harm, then the words themselves shouldn't matter that much. And to overly fixate on single words in society, they're just trying to truncate our ability for expression.
Thank you, which is one of the things that I know you said about it, and you know about this as well, the George Orwell, who was obviously an Englishman, and 1984. But one of the things, because I had never read the book. I knew a lot about it, and it wasn't until my early 20s, I was probably 22, 23 maybe, when I finally read it. And I remember reading it on the train and reading it back and forward, and there was so much in that book because it goes so deep politically, and it's so heavy in the use of language. And I'm not as intellectual as I'd like to be when it comes to language. I understand the feeling and emotion behind things, but when it comes to other words, like, I want to learn them, but I understand the emotion behind a word as opposed to the meaning of it sometimes. And I will admit that. But I read all of it. What I understood. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, it speaks to the idea that what is the individual's intention. So it's more like, the spirit of the law rather than the letter of the law. We have to look at that.
Yeah.
And I think it addresses too, like some of these situations that we see where our countries are allowing for a certain amount of immigration, but then it's like, do they have anything set up for these people? Like, is there some sort of long-term game plan for them to integrate?
Mate, if we don't even have things set up for our own people, we don't have things set up for them. This is
right.
Thank you for bringing it back to that, actually, because that's one of the things I wanted to say about. So the fact that this nation was so hard done by, like my country and the countries around me, so England, Ireland, Wales, like, we were all hard done by. We were invaded, blah 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 blah, over X amount of years, and we then created one of the greatest empires that this world's ever seen, next to the Greeks and Romans and Mongolians. But then that's what I love about the Americans, is because they were able to then break away from us and stood up against them. And they fought the redcoats and they did whatever. And they then went and became their own thing. Like, your nation is our black sheep, if that makes sense. And then
yeah, certainly.
The way that our country and your country, I mean, just on a real quick side note, the USA thing recently, holy shit, bud. Have you seen the things going on with that?
Oh, say again, I missed it.
The USAID, so USA.
Oh, yeah.
Where 20 million went to fund Iraqi Sesame Street.
Right. And all kinds of
other... Have you seen that?
Yeah, just crazy horse shit they were up to.
It sounds like a Monty Python joke. How is that reality? Does that make any sense whatsoever? Our nations, yours and mine, have funded Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi, Mugabe, like the worst dictators this planet has ever seen. And then we don't like them anymore, or they now become a little bit dangerous, or they've got something and they won't give it to us anymore. Now we're going to get involved. We knew about those ones, but we had an inkling about them. And now it turns out, no, actually, your money's been going to other places, not just funding wars, for funding the most retarded shit you've ever heard of in your life.
Well, it just shows how far out of control the governments have become, and that's why it's important. Like a guy like, I'm not saying Mr. T is the savior to the world, but at least he's a man
definitely not.
that's
He's an
bringing
expose.
light. He's bringing light to the situation.
But it's the way that most of the media, and it's the mainstream media in both your country and mine, that are saying that he's nothing and what the fuck are they doing, and but this is good money and this is going to the right places. And I've watched videos online of people in Africa, like African women and men, turning around saying, thank God this has finally stopped, because the money isn't getting where it should go. It's going to communities, and it's not going to communities, it's going to corporations, and they're now setting up businesses. They're now stopping them from setting up their own local businesses, so it's taking money away from them. It doesn't trickle down from the top, it stays there. Live Aid, 1998, how long have we been trying to give these developing countries money for, and it doesn't fucking work? Nobody gave my country money when they were trying to start, and it wasn't me that was doing it, but it's them however many hundreds of years ago, the same as nobody gave America money when they were trying to do the Civil War. I mean, for Christ's sake, George Washington's going around with wooden teeth that he carved himself. You know what I mean?
Right, and it shows how far people have deviated from like what should be acceptable or not, and how much surplus there really is in government, like, and that they're just taking too much from the people if they're in a position where they feel like they can just spend these excessive amounts of money on programs that mean absolutely nothing.
Ludicrous things. And if your own people are suffering and struggling, I mean, mate, I'm a massive hip hop fan. Like, that is one of the things that got me into American culture, and it, like, really old. Unfortunately, they're now old school, which they never used to be. Wu-Tang, Tribe Called Quest, KRS-One, like people that were spitting like common, like real conscious, like knowledge. You know what I mean? Like street stuff. I don't know why, but I always identified with that. Nas, like slaying whatever the fuck, doing these things on the streets and that. And that's what really annoys me with the left wing now, is because it's only virtue signaling. Kamala Harris turned around and now all of a sudden she's black, and now she's talking black, and I'm bringing out these artists and I'm bringing out this thing and that thing. And when they're telling me that Trump's a racist, but they've not proved one time that he's a racist, and I'm an Englishman, and all I've heard in the 90s in hip hop was Trump featuring on people's albums where they call him up because they've all looked up to him because he was a hustler. He was a businessman, which is what they all were. The best ones were, and the best ones that then give something back or either still live in those communities as well. The Black Lives Matter thing had me riled up like a motherfucker. The fact that that was then a thing in my country where we can't protest over COVID vaccines that have now been proven to give people blood clots and kill them. You can't do that. We're going to lock you up because you're not supposed to be 6 foot within somebody. But if you want to protest over some black chappie who was using dodgy money, who was a crackhead as well, who got his neck stomped on, and just one person out of how many thousands happened to in that country as well, it was ludicrous to me. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah, it shows too that there's some sort of social engineering agenda at work. Like recently in the news, there's been a British girl who's like an AV model, and she does OnlyFans or something. But there's been a couple of them. I think there's one in the US and then there's one in England, and they've been competing to see like how many dudes they can sleep with, right? And,
yeah, mate. Yeah. So, do you know what? That's genuinely actually a little bit hilarious, though. So, do you have a pen and paper?
Yeah.
Right. Just write this down so I can give you one of the. Oh, dude, I think we'd really get on if we were to talk face to face as well. But how do you feel about The Office, the English show? Have you ever seen it?
Oh yeah, I loved it. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, so very cringy and offbeat and strange, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, like, I
brilliant.
Myself, I never really liked the English version of it, and I've never seen the American one. I've seen snippets, but the English one was so cringy. I love Ricky Gervais. I love him and everything he's done since that. But The Office to me was, it was so cringy that it made me want to hide behind my sofa or my couch. Like that's and it still feels like that to me now. Like it is that good of a performance, but it's the same reason that I never liked Ross in Friends. Like Ross in Friends to me was always that person where every time he's talking or doing something, I'm like, oh, dude, what are you doing? It hurts to watch them do stuff.
Well, I grew up on Monty Python, so I kind of appreciate that sort of dry humor.
We have got a very, but I think that might be why we got on as well then. That might be why we got on first off, because like I say, our very first conversation, you were calling me all the nastiest things you could call me under the sun. And it was brilliant. Like, you were the first stranger that sorry, bud, go on.
No, I was just going to say it's all meant in good fun, you know? Like,
oh, no, I know that as well. I know that. There was, because then the second time we chatted, there was somebody else that was in the chat, and they said whatever the fuck, and they were taking it to heart. They thought you were really pissed off or being angry. And I then commented saying, no, it's all just entertainment. And
right,
you were like, yeah, you have to tell gets it. Like, yeah, it's entertainment, man.
Yeah, you've got to make that distinction between, like, again, the intention. Like, why are you doing it? Are you doing it because it's funny, or are you doing it because you're genuinely, like, aggro? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, but this is the thing as well, though, is that I don't think it is so much that. I don't think you're playing anything when you do this. I think you're you. But we're talking right now, and I feel like you are you. And I really appreciate right now during this conversation is the fact that you're not talking over me. You're actually allowing me to talk, which I never get that. I work in retail, and with the way things are nowadays with retail, since COVID and since whatever, people don't interact. They don't talk. Like, nobody asks anybody how their day's going. Like, I ask every single person, how's your day going? How's your morning been? How's your weekend? Do you got anything planned? And they'll tell me whatever. And to be completely honest with you, mate, maybe 1 in 10 people will ask me, like, how I'm feeling or how I'm doing or what I've been up to that day, or like, it's strange. There's a disconnect between people now. I really don't like that. And I've tried to bring that out of people through what I do with the job, because I'm there face to face. It's so easy to do that. And through the way you've been and what you've been to me over the past couple of months, I've been like kind of wanting to have this conversation with you. I've kind of been longing to be able to talk to you like properly. And I don't know what you think of me. I've not, because I've got like mate, it makes me feel like a bit of a dickhead as well to say this, because the way the kids are with it now. I am doing quotation marks in the air. But I've got anxiety and depression issues that I've been struggling to deal with, and they've got me on whatever drugs and fucking blah blah blah. But hearing you talk about things and putting yourself out there and just you being you, like you are. There's a line in I want to say it's Reservoir Dogs, where just because you are a character doesn't mean you have character. You are the complete opposite of that. You have character, therefore you became a character in my life. But I feel like this was meant to be it. And when you said about your birthday's on the 5th of March, like, mate, I had to talk to you. That's fucking insane.
Yeah, it's bananas, and it's coming up pretty soon. So happy birthday to you, and happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you. Is there... What are you doing for your birthday?
I don't have any plans so far. I am thinking about buying myself something nice, though, because just for fun. I don't usually, like, when you got kids, and like as old as my kids are, you pretty much just you celebrate your kid's birthday, you know. But
yeah, I'm looking forward to that, man, with our little one. I really am. I can't wait for him to start walking and talking. Like I say, he's just turned 2 months, and it's like our firstborn as well. And I like the idea of having another, but at the same time, I don't know, because I like the idea that I come from like a family of 3. So I like the idea of just having the focus on him instead of it being split apart as well.
Well, it's quite a journey, and you're right at the beginning of it, man. Just take it slow, you know. You learn along the way. It's going to be good fun.
Oh well, as long as you carry on doing this as well, mate, it's going to be raised on you.
Yeah, I'll keep doing my thing. I'm
been doing this as well. It's been a while now, hasn't it?
Well, I started the YouTube channel in 2016, but like if you look back at my original videos, I was more interested in a little bit like higher level of production value, and like with the live streaming and then like opening the live stream to other people. I've only been doing this like about 6 months. Prior to that, I would do interviews with people on the different programs I was running. But I didn't even know that like there was like this was available. I didn't know about StreamYard and stuff like that back then. So
mate, I have no idea about any of it. I don't even have a mobile phone or a cell phone. I've got nothing. I've got a tablet that I watch you on and listen to you on, and I tend to watch you on the PlayStation, which is why you got the feedback. But I was just scrolling through YouTube Shorts one day, and I think it was one of your old, like really old kung fu videos or something that popped up.
Yeah, it's funny. The YouTube Shorts, it gets way more attention than anything else. Like if you do a live stream on Shorts, like it will get hundreds of views.
You know, my question is though, like, why?
I don't know.
Like, why did that happen? Why did that just pop up randomly on my TV? I'm sat in England, in Boston, UK, at whatever time in the morning, and then your thing just popped up, and then you just keep popping up there in live streams. And initially I'd check in for like 2 minutes or so and be like, I don't get this, I don't know what the fuck's going on. But then I said to my missus about it, and then I'm chatting about you, and like, I don't know, it became a thing for some reason.
Yeah, it seems to be like the preferred format for YouTube. I guess they're trying to copy TikTok somehow or something like that.
Yeah, and I don't really like that either, because it takes away. We've already got a short attention span as it is now because of technology and stuff. Here's a question for you. What's the level of autism young boys in China?
Wow, like that's an interesting question, because like from my experience here, like mental health is not something they ever really take into consideration. It's not even really like on the table. And at most schools,
same, mate.
Yeah, they don't really have.
That is to say, same in this country.
Yeah, it seems to be something they ignore and kind of brush under the rug, but because they're so focused on academics, and like kids have to study so hard, and there are various tests as they go through school. Like there's a junior high test to get into high school, and if they fail that, then they'll have to like redirect into the labor force.
Really?
Yeah, and so they have basically like a de facto caste system, and if you don't excel in academics, then you have to go into a vocational school.
See, that's a bit dark in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, somehow.
That sounds very twisted to me. What do they what's the like Down syndrome, those sort of things, like people who like genuine like learning disabilities?
Well, that's interesting too. Like because I live in like one of their major cities, so basically like their flagship city, Peking, and then Shanghai would be the two top ones, and then Shenzhen, of course. Like, I think there's actually like a mandate that certain types of people cannot.
Please don't get in trouble, Frank.
Yeah, no,
Like,
it's okay. It's pretty obvious anything that I'm going to talk about, and I'm not revealing anything really.
At the same time, mate, it's because they will deem you as a foreigner in that country, and I will fucking do you know how bad I'd feel if something was to happen to you because I want to have an open conversation with you? Maybe.
No worries.
Just for safety's sake, we shouldn't have a conversation here, but like we could trade numbers and chat on WhatsApp or something. I'm worried about you, man. Like from what I've heard about China, do you know what I mean?
Nah, yeah, it's not that bad. And then offline too, like or off the YouTube, like StreamYard works pretty good, like for behind the scenes conversation as well. Like when I'm not transmitting.
What's do they have like WhatsApp and that over there as well, or?
No, there you can't access that one even with a
Yeah,
VPN. Like that one's been
that's what I
blocked for a
thought.
while.
Yeah, because obviously that one's completely encrypted, isn't it? So they can't hear or see what you're saying, which it's very Orwellian, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So
I learned a word the other day. I was watching a video, and the girl called it a panopticon. I think is what it was.
Oh, what
Are you
does that mean?
Are you familiar with that term?
No, I
wasn't.
haven't. That one.
I wasn't either. But it's like 24-hour surveillance state, basically.
Yeah,
So
mate,
there's a channel I watch on YouTube sometimes. It's called I forget what it's called, but I'm gonna look it up real quick. So go ahead.
Yeah, well, I honestly think that's the way the whole of the Western world is, but they don't realize it.
Yeah, it's
The amount
nothing
of
like
people-
here though.
No, mate, no, but ours is a subconscious way. So the best way of putting it would be the Western world is RoboCop, Starship Troopers. They're a Peter Verhoeven movie. They're in your face. You know that there's something wrong. You're meant to know, but there's like a satirical take on it, just to make it easy to digest, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
In the Western world, we have the complete opposite. We have a David Lynch thing, where we're living in a nightmare, but it's portrayed to us in such a way that it feels like a fucking dream. And we don't really understand what it is we're going through, but we know that something's not right. But we're so ingrained and taught by the system that instead of falling out with them, we fall out with each other. It's almost like a they live thing. Like it's Orwellian in
Right.
a worse way. If George Orwell knew what it was going to be. So that's one of the things I was saying. I had never read anything by George Orwell other than Animal Farm. And Animal Farm, if you read that as an adult, it wasn't something I read in school. I chose to read it. It's so easy to digest. But at the same time, if you read that as an adult, it is the most difficult thing in the world to take in because it is everything. But 1984, I'm going to 1984, what he believed was there would be cameras in television that were watching that to make sure we stood up and did this thing when we were told to, when you do this thing when you're told to. It got so much worse. Even he didn't know how bad it was going to be. We walk around with mobile phones in our pockets now. You can no longer take the battery out of. You can't take the SIM card out of it. You can't disconnect. You can't do this thing. We are being monitored, recorded, and every single thing is being documented by people. And the worst thing with it is they don't even know why they're doing it, but yet still they are doing it. Now that, to me, is the epitome of evil, especially when they don't even let you see what your own information is. We are the people giving it to you. We are supposed to be a democratic society, be it you are withholding and storing all of our history. I love South Park. I honestly think the two greatest people your country's ever produced are Matt Stone and Trey Parker. They did an episode, and they are, mate. And even honestly, still to this day, every episode and every fucking thing they put out is great. And it speaks to the soul of who we are, but does it in such a way that it combines both American and English humor. I've never seen anything more relatable and more current and more look at yourself in the mirror than South Park.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah.
They're great.
Eric Cartman sucks salty balls. Yeah, he's pretty damn funny.
If you saw when they did the whole Trump thing as well. So they did it where Mr. Garrison is now Trump and there's things going on. And they did the thing with Obama, and the way it was so I feel like I'm just like talking at you at the moment as well, which I feel really bad for doing as well.
No worries. I enjoy letting you talk because, like, when I do shows and I just talk the entire time, it's quite exhausting. So
sometimes I feel bad for you. You did one recently, and I think you were trying to play the Outcast songs, and you got really pissed off because you could only find the clean versions.
Right.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what
mate. So, yeah, go on.
I was just gonna say they're retconning everything on YouTube, like they're eliminating, anything that had explicit lyrics in the past, so they're trying to
Yeah,
act like it never happened. This is the
yeah.
video I was gonna mention for you. I got it here on the screen now, if you can see it. It says
Oh yeah,
liberty
yeah.
cannot exist in a panopticon, and
Cool.
the channel that did it is called Truth Stream Media.
So what is a panopticon from what you understood? I'd
Um,
like your understanding, because the way you break stuff down, like I've said in a few of the comments as well, I've been trying to find God, and
right.
I've had not. I haven't really had any experiences. I think that's the issue as well. If you look for something, you don't find it. I think it's when you stop looking for something sometimes that you do find it. And I was in a bathtub today, and normally most of the time I get, like, everything's in my head. I don't say a lot of things out loud because I feel stupid doing it sometimes. And I was in the bathtub, I was laid there doing that, and I started talking to myself first off, asking myself, why do I have the same life? Why this thing happen? Blah blah blah. And I stopped asking myself and I started asking God. And I stopped feeling strange. I didn't get an answer, but I felt better.
Yeah.
I know there were so many names for God. I know, obviously. Here's a question for you. So I'm very interested by this. You say, like, because I really do like your opening prayer, and I'm not going to be able to get this one either. But there's the thing of Dagon that you say you are, and you are self-anointed.
Right.
But how did that come about? What was that? Because from what I know from Dagon as well, it was a oh, hold on, bear with me for a second while I think about this. It's a H.P. Lovecraft thing, isn't it, Dagon?
Yeah, it is. It's a reference to Lovecraft.
Yeah, I thought it might have been. I'm just very curious where you get that from, because what I've always found very sorry.
Well, it's a tie-in. It's a tie-in to a guy named Robert Anton Wilson. He wrote a book in like the 1980s called Prometheus Rising, and it's about,
I know the name.
Okay, yeah, it's about paradigm shifting. And so when he was active, he had a program where you could send him a self-addressed stamped envelope, and he would send you a card.
Oh, wow.
Anointing you as a pope of the Church of Discordia.
Oh,
and so I remember
buddy, really?
Yeah, when I was a teenager, I was kind of into the punk scene, and like I was a bit of a Hessian, so I was into heavy metal and shit. And I had, like, when I was 17, I got my pope card from Dr. Bob Wilson.
Oh,
and later,
dude, your life's amazing, man.
Yeah, so later on, he became known as Dr. Bob, right? Like within the community. Yeah. But so I had my pope card since I was like a teenager. And in his book, Prometheus Rising, he suggests that if there is a conspiracy to take over the world, then why haven't you started your own conspiracy? And so he was all about forming your own mastermind group and working actively to take over the world, because if you don't, then someone else is going to. And if they're doing it, then why shouldn't you? And so one of the things he suggests is that you start your own religion as well. And so as I had been going through Lovecraft's material, and I was working with some people here in Beijing, and we had an esoteric meeting. So like once a week, we would all meet up. There was about 5 or 6 of us, and sometimes as many as 10 or 15 people. We'd meet up in a cafe, and that's where the 100-day challenge kind of started. I was challenging these people to learn the tarot and hermetic sciences and stuff like this, and talking about magic. But I dubbed the group the Order of Dagon, and that's where it came from.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Kind of like Benjamin Franklin's Hellfire Club.
Yeah, that's really nice. How did you feel about that as well? Stranger Things using the Hellfire Club thing?
I don't remember what happened with that.
That was one of the things they did in the last season. I stopped watching Stranger Things after the first season. I watched the second one, but just felt like it wasn't as good. I felt like they were trying to carry on doing
Okay,
something.
yeah, I only made it as far as the first season for Stranger
Yeah,
Things.
I'd say watch the latest season they did. Like, mate, honestly, that got me back in just because the acting is on point. Like, there was something really nice about it. It felt
Okay,
more
I'll have
like,
to watch it.
yeah, and a lot of it, like, there's kind of like a love story going on, but it felt kind of John Cusack, as opposed to, like, the first season felt like old school Stephen King / Steven Spielberg, didn't it?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? There was something magical but horrific at the same time. So it's like the childhood E.T. meets any Stephen King novel you'd ever read as well. Like, there was that dark underbelly, wasn't there? But there's like this glimmer of hope. And then the other seasons, it felt like they were trying to repeat the same thing, and I didn't get it. And then the latest season they did, it felt John Hughes meets those things. They get it different flavors. Nice.
So I don't understand, how did they incorporate aspects of the Hellfire Club?
Well, there's a club in it called the Hellfire Club. That they wear it on T-shirts, and it's become, because one of the characters in it, I don't want to tell you anything about the characters because it's spoilers if you do watch it, because I hate spoilers, mate. But
I'll definitely watch it.
Yeah. If you Google it, if you've got a phone in front of you right now, just Google Hellfire Strange Things, and it might bring up the T-shirt for you, because they used the logo and they used that name, and it was only because you said that then that I put the two together.
Okay. Well, I think somehow,
nice.
I think that's one thing that Hollywood is up to, is like, by reintegrating some of these older ideas like into modern programming, then they're basically rewriting and retconning the algorithm. So if you have genuine interest in something like the Hellfire Club and you go to research it, you're not going to find like the direct access to the older ideas.
You're going to find the mainstream thing.
Right. You're just going to find this,
But then at the same time, because I'm seeing a lot, and I sorry, I don't mean to talk over.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
But I have a lot of people shoot me down because apparently I'm a conspiracy theorist. But my two favorite Americans of all time, Bill Hicks and Hunter S. Thompson, and the conspiracies that I have. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. I didn't say anything.
Oh, sorry. So the conspiracies that I have around. So where the fuck were we? They come to bounce back. I just got thrown out. I can't think where the fuck I was at, mate. I just lost it. I had a bit of feedback and it just threw me out.
Oh, okay, yeah, no worries. We have a visitor in the chat room, Lady Paranormal. Greetings and salutations. Good to see you. Good evening to you. We're having a conversation here with Sal Smith. He is in England, and we've been an hour, so I'll update the channel for a second. Sal, this is Frank Monday's show, 100-Day Challenge, Pathways of the Psionics. We're trying to look at it and focus on mind control in the coming future. I am your Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, friend and well-wisher, Frank Monday. Make sure you guys hit the likes and subscribe. If it's your first time, don't let it be your last time. Check me out on the old buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. And so I was mentioning to Lady Paranorma, she asked about the Hellfire Club, and the idea began with Benjamin Franklin and what he called the junto. And so the junto, I believe it's a French term, and it was just him meeting up with people to discuss various philosophical ideas. And so they would have a book reading club, and they would read a book and then meet up and do essays on it. And so everyone who participated in the junto had to write an essay. I think it was maybe once a month or once a week, something like that. But I started a similar club here in Beijing where we'd have a reading list and people would try to keep up with the reading. And then we would alternate so that each time someone would write a different essay on how to be successful in life, or how to better connect with God, or to better develop community and stuff like that. So that's where And Sal had just asked me where the idea of the Order of Dagon came from. And yeah, it comes from Lovecraft's story, The Shadow over Innsmouth. So it's that connection to the elder gods, or the old ones. Have you read or have you listened to Sal, the Shadow over Innsmouth?
I've the only ones I've heard. What was it? And it's only recently that I've got into him a little bit more, H.P. Lovecraft. But the Dagon one really stands out. And
all right.
I'm getting introduced to stories through film. I love reading, but with the issues that I've had recently, I find it very difficult to sit down and read something. Like, every time I read anyway, because of how kind of pipe with my brain, I find it difficult to focus on the words on the page, and I end up drifting off and thinking about other things. So
yeah, no, it's
like a form of meditation.
And it's more enjoyable too if you can just listen to the audiobooks these days. There's a lot of good ones out there.
Oh, mate, could I put you onto a really good story series? And you might get it. I know I've sent you over a couple of music things here and there, but there's a series called Helldivers by Nicholas Sansbury Smith. They are spectacular.
Okay, I'll have to look into it. Helldivers, and what was the guy's name?
Helldivers. Nicholas Sansbury Smith. He's an American author. And there are, I think it's gone up to book 12 now, but it's over. As soon as you hear the way the guy reads them, his name's R.C. Bray, the guy that reads them. The characters, the way the world's set up, but it just draws you in. I've not heard an audio tape like it since I was a young boy. Like, nothing's taken me away like that has. Like, real sci-fi, post-apocalyptic, strong, like, honestly amazing. And the female characters in it as well, it's not new where it's just a strong woman. They're really developed. There's so much, mate, it's beautiful. I'm making it sound daft. I can never sell anything, but I swear to God, it's one of the best sci-fi I've ever fucking heard. And I love a bit of sci-fi. A massive Star Trek fan.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check it out.
Fuck the new Star Wars.
Yeah, I'll look into it for sure.
What kind of movies do you like?
Oh, hell, I haven't seen any in recently that were really blew me away, but it seems like we've had some of the same crossovers, like Fight Club and Snatch and Guy Ritchie.
Yep.
The guy who did Pulp Fiction, I forget what his name was, Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And I just went through the entire 3 seasons of Twin Peaks because David Lynch passed away.
Oh, but what are you drinking right now?
Oh, it's AM, so I'm drinking coffee. It's 8 a.m.
Right. Well, hold on a minute. I'm drinking whiskey, so you can have a coffee. I'll have a whiskey. Here's one to David Lynch. Cheers.
There you go. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I went through all 3 seasons over the last week and a half.
I plan on watching them again, but I'm waiting until the kid gets to a certain age where we can watch them together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wanted to be a surprise again for myself, and I think by the time he gets to an age where he can understand it, I'll have completely forgotten a lot of what goes on. Because Lynch is so deep, or was. God bless him. Like that guy,
yeah,
he was a dreamer, a real dreamer.
Well, it's funny too. I was talking to Lady Paranorma that my dad, like I grew up in LA, and the same Bob's Big Boy. I didn't know this, but Lynch spent time.
Yeah, used to go there every single day to have the milkshake at exactly the same time.
Yeah, my dad used to take me there for that same milkshake.
Shut up.
Yeah, and I remember when I was a kid, there was always a guy that my dad would talk to that wrote shit on napkins, and he gave me.
Fuck off, man!
Yeah, and he gave me one of those napkins one time. He's like, "Hey, kid, check this out." And I remember it having all kinds of bizarre shit on it, like little doodles and words and shit like that.
Do you know where that napkin is now?
That might have absolutely not. I was only
Oh,
like, I was like maybe 6, 7 years old, something like that.
that's such a shame, innit? Imagine if you had that, man.
That might have been David Lynch. So
Yeah. But dude, that guy was absolutely incredible. Like, forget Twin Peaks. They make horror movies, and when I was younger, horror movies like used to freak me out a little bit. The very first one that ever did so was The Exorcist, and the bed's shaking and whatnot. I'm like 7 years old seeing that freaked me the fuck out. The first one I saw in the cinema was The Ring. Like, I was 15, when she crawls out of the TV. Because I used to watch TV all the time and I used to smoke X amount of weed. So then, her crawling out of the TV, dude, imagine if that had actually happened. You sat there on your own at night. No one else is even going to know, are they? But
Yeah,
the thing that really
that was good film.
horror movie was, yeah, great film, the first one. But the film that messed me up out of everything and anything, Eraserhead.
Okay.
There is not. Have you seen Eraserhead?
I have, but I can't recall it in great detail.
Oh, then it didn't fuck you up enough.
No.
I've never seen anything, mate. I am like
I'll have to rewatch it.
Like, I love film, and there is nothing as psychologically damaging as that. Like, there's something off about it. It's just not right.
The one that fucked me up was the first Saw movie. It was either the first or the second.
Oh, the first Saw movie. What messed you up about it? And I can tell you which one it was.
It was the one where they were doing it in, like, they were capturing people in Russia, and they had like an underground dungeon in Russia. And the Japanese...
no, that's Hostel.
Oh, is that Hostel?
I think that's Hostel, yeah.
Okay.
Where they get the tourists and whatnot.
Yeah, that was more than I could take because it hit too close to home. I saw it while I was here in China.
What? Wait, what? Wait, no, that's our conversation. What the fuck did you see?
I've been in situations out at bars and shit where foreigners will get drugged or whatever, and I've seen people disappear from society, and I just thought, fuck, there probably, I'm pretty sure there is that dark underbelly existent in most major cities where they are capturing people and pulling them in for that kind of shit.
Is that the government doing it, or is that other people doing it for the government as well, do you think?
I would assume that it's like an elite class of moneyed people. I'm not going to say where, I don't know where.
Yeah, mate. Well, like I say, mate, I need you to be safe because you've helped me. If you just disappear, I've now got to come to China, and I'm not Liam Neeson. I don't have a particular set of fucking skills.
Okay, so that was Hostel, huh? Yeah, Hostel and Saw. Yeah. Saw fucked me up too, and it was.
Saw, the first one was great. The rest of them, it just ends up becoming like just murder porn, essentially, doesn't it?
Right.
Like the very first one, because I watched that when it came out. Like, I remember buying that on DVD, sitting in my bedroom, stoned off my noggin, watching that on my own. And when he gets up at the end, when it turns out that guy that was laid down on the floor the whole time wasn't dead. And I'm looking around like, there's nobody here for me to share this with right now. That was such a moment. And I feel like none of the others have ever lived up to that. And I think that's the issue with cinema nowadays as well. This one movie made so much money. We've got to now make another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. No, the reason it was good is because it was just one of them.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, now they've become franchises where they're just entirely money driven. But yeah, I grew up in the days of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, Dawn of the Dead, and then the guy from White Zombie. He did quite a few that I thought were really good, like House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh, mate, some of my favorites was Sid Haig. Great films. Devil's Rejects, and then he actually put another one as well, didn't he? Recently, that was. Well, I say recently now, probably been a couple of years, that was with the same characters. They didn't actually die at the end of Devil's Rejects. They were brought back.
Right. I don't think I've seen that new one. I can't even recall what it was called.
No, it's I can't think of what it was called. I've got no idea right now what it was called, but they brought back the same characters. So it was Baby from that one.
Okay.
And they because obviously at the end of that, they get shot down.
His wife's a hottie, that blonde gal. She used to be in his music videos too.
Yeah, she did. But she looks bloody good for her age as well, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. She's very pretty. But that's a Lovecraft reference too. The stench of 1,000 open graves. That comes from, I think. Let me see if I can recall when the guy disappears.
Yeah, thanks, lady. It's Sherry Moon. Well done, thank you.
Yeah, Sherry Moon.
So I'm seeing the comments popping up on the TV.
Yeah. What's happening, Free Gift from God? Good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Well, normally I'm just on the comments, so I never look at that shit. Well, I do look at it, but I don't have time to comment to it. I'm just talking to you. Now I'm actually here talking to you. It's fucking mad, man. Anyway, sorry, bud.
Yeah, no worries. I was trying to think of that reference where, because Stephen King has done that too. He said like the stench of 1,000 open coffins, but it comes from Lovecraft. Lovecraft coined it.
How do you feel about Stephen King?
I don't know. I read a lot of his stuff when I was in college, and another one at that time was Dean Koontz.
Yes!
Koontz.
Oh, Frank, my fucking guy. That made me so happy then. Oh, so glad you said him as well. What the fuck, dude? We are linked. We are fucking linked. My mum and dad had Stephen King and Dean Koontz in the house.
Yeah, those
Which
were
one
big
did
ones
you lean more towards?
In college. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say because I was reading it mostly because again my mom was reading it, and so she was always buying the novels and they were there at the house. So I read probably a dozen of Koontz's books and probably a dozen of King's. But at that time, I was still more into like sword and sorcery fantasy, and so I was still reading like my old Conan comics and.
Nice.
And Frank Herbert's stuff, and so what was I shifting more towards? And that was the time when I was really steeped in Taoism, and so
How did that happen?
Well,
The Taoism, because you told me about Taoism. I got sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Just real quickly.
Yeah, no, just from the study of martial arts and like Chinese kung fu and stuff. But
because I remember saying about that and how you got into that. If I remember correctly, you went to a Chinese restaurant and you see the language on the walls and you asked the people that worked there what it meant. Am I correct in that? Do I remember that right?
Yeah. So at that age in my life, like high school, college, I was interested. I studied English in school. I went to college and I studied literature. And the reason I was doing it is because I wanted to become a writer and I wanted to write good horror fantasy, but I wanted to do it with like a Chinese angle. And so I was studying like I was reading Koontz and King and stuff because I wanted to learn to write like them, but then I wanted to use my own ideas to do it.
Yep.
But then that's what brought me full circle.
Yeah, I get that completely, mate. I really do.
Brought me
do you write anything
back to Lovecraft?
Still,
because King references Lovecraft as a big influence on him. Sorry, you broke up a bit. Yeah. Sounds like you might have some mic issues. Yeah, and lots of ghost stories. Maybe get that mic sorted out. So, not sure what happened there.
Have you written anything?
I have, short stories, and I've got an entire series of novels I've been working on for like the last 20 years. That's like a 5-part series.
Sorry, but I think I might be fucking up. Yeah, bear with me.
Yeah, no worries.
Charging.
Yeah, so Lady Paranorma, she oh okay, looks like I lost Sal, maybe he'll be back. Um yeah, so he had asked if I have written anything, and yeah, I've written quite a bit. I did a lot of short stories about a decade ago, and in between then, like when I came over here and I was working in a research program here at university. I had started a series of novels where I outlined the entire thing, 5 books, and worked on the first one a lot, and the second and third one, and then wrote the premises and the continuation for the fourth and fifth. But it's to be like 5 books in total. It's called the Mystic Quintet, and it's about yeah. Anyway, I won't go into the details, but yeah, the first and second ones are pretty much finished, and then I've always intended for like the last 10 years to finish the whole thing, but I haven't had the inspiration or the nervous energy as I did when I was younger. But definitely when there's time and I can get back into that spirit of the feeling of the thing, then it'll be my magnum opus that ultimately it will be finished at one point, provided I live long enough, which I hope to. And again, when time allows, which I've actually had time, and I will have time, but I haven't had the spirit of the thing. Like, I don't know, some people they can just write like an AI, like King and Kuntz. They're both really highly prolific writers, but they do it as a career, so they're just churning out material. But then there are certain people who take a long time to write a single thing, a single manuscript, or like me, a series of manuscripts. I was listening to the girl who played Audrey in Twin Peaks. I was watching some interviews she did, and she took a really long time to write her first novel, and I guess she's written a few, but she spends a long time on writing and rewriting and then making sure. So there are certain authors who aren't interested in producing a bulk of material, but definitely interested in producing some key item that moves a genre forward a little bit or changes the aspects of a genre. And I'm not sure how many of her name is Cheryl Finn. Yeah. She wrote the Secret something, the Secret Doctrine, or no, that wasn't it. That was Blavatsky. But yeah, I watched a few interviews on her. She's one of your favorites. Okay, yeah, she's one of my favorites too. Good God, like her in the first couple of seasons of Twin Peaks, and even in the last season, she's just like goddess level hottie. Yeah, so pretty. All right, Sal is back.
Oh.
Are you back?
Hey,
Welcome back, amigo. Hermano. Mate.
can you hear me, mate? Yeah.
You guys like to say.
Hello, mate. All
Yeah, we were talking
right.
about Sherilyn Finn. Is that her name? She played Audrey in Twin Peaks.
Wait, is it working?
Yeah, she's gorgeous. Beautiful woman. But I had watched an interview she gave a while back on writing.
Oh.
So that was fun.
Wait, hold on a minute. Lady says she is so hot. And then I sort of think, well,
Yeah, are you familiar with her? Do you recall her?
could we just go back and include Lady? Like, what should we call you? Like, do you want to pop something up? Are we saying Lady, Para, or Norma? But I need a short version for that, because Lady,
I'll pull up a picture of her.
Paranormal. Yeah.
See if you're familiar or not. Yeah, she played Audrey Horne in Twin Peaks. Let me see if I can add my screen to
There was something like.
Yeah, Frigga from God
yeah,
Save. saying that your
Popped up
mic's
a couple
going
of times,
down.
but I don't like referring to somebody as just she either. Like
Yeah.
what's the best name to use for you? Like Frank's Frank, or to be honest with you, mate, like I've said in a couple of messages as well, or in your comments, it's Frankie boy, and I just feel like I know you. And yes, isn't it really a response either? Like I need a name. I'm not just gonna call you yes.
Yeah, Audrey Horn. I was really
But
hoping.
Para's good.
Yeah, I was
Para's okay.
I was really hoping in going through the first season that her and Agent Dale Cooper would
Same.
hook up,
Para's okay.
but they ended up not hooking up, and she went her own way. She ended up with another guy there towards the end of the film. And I really didn't understand the significance of like Audrey's dance in the bar at the end of the third season. I'm not exactly sure how that like tied in. Maybe like Lady Paranormal is
Well,
saying.
your mic is.
Oh, is it my mic or your mic?
I mean, I keep faking that, but yeah, no, mate. To be honest with you, I think your mic's pretty sweet, and the last, like the best ones, I'm not gonna lie to you, is where you're sat there filming yourself doing it, and you're holding up that little old school looking turntable thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
They're great.
Is that called a gramophone? It's a gramophone, right? Okay, yeah. So Free Gift from God says, I think it's something on your end. Not to worry though. Yeah. So we were talking about Audrey Horn. Yeah, she's goddess level perfection. Not this gal, but look at those eyebrows on her. Isn't that bananas? She looks gnarls. Yeah, so we had a guest here in the Ideas Room. Everyone out there in Happy Land. Yeah, something I think is going on with his microphone, which is a bit of a hassle, but it is what it is. You know, we're 3 hours into the show now. Twin Peaks returns with the interview with Sherilyn Finn. Yeah, so I watched one of these interviews. I'm not sure which one it was, but it's probably on here somewhere. The final dossier, what happened to Audrey? Yeah, it's a good question. Cheryl Finn on David Lynch. And her, this girl who played Sherry something. What was her name? Sherry Johnson. There it is. Shelley Johnson. Yeah, the scene with her and the director of the FBI, I thought was so good. Like, he couldn't hear anyone, but he could somehow hear her. How's it going, Sal? Is your microphone working now?
I think so.
Amic.
So, mate, I keep trying. Am I back?
Yeah, and it seems.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah, sounds like you're better.
Hello.
Hello. How's it going? You doing all right?
Oh shit! Oh, fuck. I know.
Yeah, it sounds like the volume's better. Sounds like you're doing okay now.
I don't know how it works. Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes.
I think so. Is there a disconnect? Is there like a delay going on?
There might be. It's pretty typical.
I'll tell you what. Can we count in time together? 1, 2,
2,
4,
4,
1, 2,
5,
3, 4, 1, 2.
1, 2.
Yeah, there is in there. There's definitely a delay.
Is there? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, your sound is good though. What's going on?
Oh, beautiful. There is. I don't know if the delay's my end or your end.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
I'm trying to talk to you. I don't know what's happening. It's weird. See, this is why I don't like talking like this.
No worries. No worries.
I feel like we're having a pub conversation. Like you're on a different drink or a different drug.
Yeah,
and I'm on the drink and you're on the drug. I don't know what the fuck's happening right now.
Sure. Free gift from which God says you're a little.
Oh
nuts.
shit! There you are. Right, so you can hear me right now, yeah?
Yeah, sure.
No.
Lady Paranorma says
Maybe.
that she bought a Christmas elf onesie and it made my day. Yeah, that sounds cute. I'd like to see you in your Christmas elf onesie. Yeah, free gift from God's right. He says, very true. It sounds like a pub conversation. Absolutely. It does indeed.
Right. So should we both?
Yeah, not to worry. Just roll with the punches.
Yeah, just a little bit. Well, I'm an Englishman. I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, fair enough.
None of us are clued up.
True that. True that. Yeah, I think that, Sal, you're having technical issues. You disconnected there. And it looked like before you disconnected too that your whatever device you're using also disconnected from the platform. And I'm not sure like where the problem is, but you know, with modern technology, there's always the ins and outs of everything. So the sixth hermetic principle is cause and effect. Everything happens according to natural law. Chance is but a name for a law not recognized. There are many planes of causation. So like Sal was saying when he came in at first, he said that we have the same birthday, we share a birthday, and he felt like that is something that is beyond random chance. You know, that there's definitely some sort of causation there, and chance is but a name for a law not recognized. So Jungian understanding would say that there's a synchronicity there, that there's an alignment. Lady Paranorma says that she's pretty good on meditating and keeping it up and can start working again. Nice. Good to hear about your successes with meditation. Meditation is an important aspect of spiritual cultivation, most definitely. I was covering the Hermetic principles here in the run-up to the 100-day challenge, Pathways of the Psionics. So a basic definition of psionics is to use the mind to control and influence machines. So let's see if we can make that happen here. Again, there's some lag. I think it may be on my end too. But we'll give it a shot. Sal, welcome back. Can you hear me all right? All right. No, yeah, it doesn't look like it's gonna let you connect, Sal. When you do connect, though, let me know. I will keep you here. Backstage, too much clutter for too long. Yeah, it looks for some reason there's some sort of disconnect on my end. I'm thinking it might be the Chinese internet is getting flaky. Yeah, I think I know why it is. It's because we're getting later in the morning, and I believe that probably more and more people are logging on right now, and so I'm just getting into that bottleneck because I had started pretty early today. So yeah, we're going into the third hour now, which means I started like 6 a.m. And so now it's getting closer to when like Sunday morning here in Beijing. And so more and more people are getting up and logging onto the internet. Yeah, it could be that. They have me up dancing and listening to you. Yeah, I think I'm gonna probably wind down here though in a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and do the sign-off stuff for the show, guys. We've got your Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, Frank Monday, coming at you. I think I'm going to call the upcoming 100-day challenge the Pathways of Psionics. And it kind of ties into a story of when I was like college age. I had my Yahoo email account was called Psionic Agent, and I think it was kind of a play on Twin Peaks, like the idea that with psychic power, we can somehow cause change and effect in the prime material plane, and that being a special agent or a secret agent sort of ties in with the whole realm of possibility. And yeah, there's not any connection. The kind of the breakup in the internet is causing a little bit of a challenge. My computer's lagging too. Like I'm not exactly sure what's going on. So sadly, I will have to maybe reboot and try again in a little while. But yeah, everything's kind of bogging down. I think I got too many windows open and too many things going on at once. But yeah, let me drop some of these things from the StreamYard. All right, I'll drop that one. And then I'll drop this one. Stop screen. Yeah, maybe that'll help. I don't know. I'll wait a second and see if it does. But yeah, so I was going to sign off a little bit and just tell you guys, make sure you hit the likes and subscribe and all that happy horse shit that makes YouTube work. Check me out on buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. And as you guys know, I like to finish with a quote from Israel Regardie. He says to invoke often and inflame yourself with prayer. And I was going to taper out here with the invocation of total integration, which comes to us from Master Nihua Qing of the Universal Society of the Integral Way, and his book called The Workbook for the Spiritual Development of All People. And it goes a little something like this. First, take a deep breath. Inhale and hold for 3, 2, 1, and then exhale and relax. Heaven and earth are the spontaneous manifestations of the subtle, wondrous universal law. As the original oneness expresses itself, gross and subtle energies become distinctly divided. Our bodily caves are brightly illuminated by the mysterious light from the 3 Dantian bridge points leading to immortality. The powerful spirits of the 8 directions conjoin our being with the true origin of life. By the absolute order of the divine Ling Bao in the highest 9th heaven, send the positive energies of Qianluo, Dana, Dunkan, and Taishuan to destroy our spiritual obstacles and debilitate any evil influence. This order is given by the highest sovereignty. It is a jade oracle from the subtle origin. I invoke with strong sincerity to drive away the demons and evils and lengthen my healthy years. The attained spirits respond. The evil demon king, Mo Wang, is chained to stand as our garden servant. The powerful atmosphere has been generated, dispersing all negativity. The chi of Tao is everlasting. So it is commanded and confirmed. So mote it be. Amen. All right, good magic. I am going to keep the StreamYard open, so I'm gonna sign off from YouTube. But Sal Smith, stay in the back, and when I finish signing off with YouTube, I'll chat with you for a little bit, bro. And I just want to finish by telling everyone to make sure that you keep your affirmations in mind, right? Express the highest level of positivity in your life. Grateful for all that you have, capable of achieving the great work, and embracing the challenges as opportunities for growth. In addition to that, take action towards things every day that are fulfilling in your life. With that said, I have been the Grand Wizard. I am the Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, your friend and well-wisher, Frank Monday, wishing you to do good magic ad astra prospera. Until next time, Wayfarer, I will see you in the abodes of the future.